on the beat.
What is up? What is up? What is up?
What's happening?
Cheers to Monday. Today's fucking Monday. I'm about to say cheers to Tuesday, but today's definitely a Monday. How are you doing today?
Hey, we on a little bit earlier today. Ain't no Monday night football game.
I was like, when you texted me earlier, I was like, I knew there's like one last game left. It did not dawn on me that was it for the regular season. Like yesterday was it. That was the last game at 8:20. And I was like, oh yeah, we can go on earlier now because there's no game today. So it kind of threw me off a little bit. How was your weekend?
It was decent. I reckon I was grinding as usual.
Out there in the trenches.
Grind. In the trenches, man, trying to get out them trenches for real. I wasn't in them trenches like KD, but I was in them trenches.
Okay. You guys, this is a special one because this is our first official like NFL recap of 2026. You guys, we haven't been here since last year. How awesome is that? And then you got Notty. He doesn't have a hat on today. We get to see his full head.
Yeah, you get to see.
He's showing everything.
Yeah,
yeah. Not everything. What's going on with you? What you doing?
I was thinking if there was a pause there. If it wasn't a pause, I was trying to say, is that a pause moment?
There is a pause, you guys. We're going to get right into it because a lot happened over the weekend. A lot definitely happened today. I'm not even sure where to begin. We're just going to go back to what happened last night, you guys, because honestly speaking, I think I told you guys that Aaron Rodgers, they were going to pull it off last week. And you didn't believe me.
I didn't.
I said they're going to pull it off. There's no way you're not going to have Aaron Rodgers in his final season, maybe, not get into the postseason. Like, you got to have that just because of who he's been, to know who MVP. Like, just, I think this is the year, honestly speaking, that we will see the Steelers get past the first round with Aaron Rodgers.
Man, I tell you what, they got a good matchup with the Houston Texans. And I say that because even though Houston Texans, they have, to me, it could be an all-time great defense. It all depends on if they run the table or not. But the defense is good enough to run the table, but their offense is just bad enough where Pittsburgh defense could stifle them. And it could be
just bad enough.
Right. It could be a game where, field goals win the game, Pittsburgh definitely can win that game because I believe their defense is good enough to hold CJ Stroud to a limited amount of points.
Honestly speaking, I know that defense has been like otherworldly, but the Steelers got some huge dudes. Like, pause. Like, DK Metcalf is back. It's not going to be easy bringing his big ass down. Like, it's going to take a couple of bodies to stop him, from getting into that end zone. So it should be really, really good matchup. Honestly speaking, I'm going to give the Steelers the edge, not because of the defense, but because of Aaron Rodgers in the offense. CJ Stroud hasn't looked like himself in a minute, honestly speaking. And as long as the defense can hold up, keep it even, I expect Aaron Rodgers to get the dub over him, to outplay him, even at 42.
Right. Well, I ride with the Steelers, but I'm gonna have to take the Texans in this game. I just believe their defense I just believe their defense is too good. I mean, Aaron Rodgers isn't going anywhere, and Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter, those guys are after the quarterback. They're getting there.
Mm-hmm.
And on the back end with Petrie and Stingley and all those guys, I just don't see it. I just don't see how Pittsburgh is gonna. Now again,
well, you didn't see it last night.
Once again, once
They didn't even
again,
go do
yeah, turnovers is the big difference maker in the playoffs.
it.
Turnovers
Hmm.
cost you double in the playoffs.
Hmm.
And based off CJ Stroud's recent performances,
Hmm.
I'm like, CJ, just don't turn the ball over. Your defense is good enough to win games if you just don't turn the ball over. And for whatever reason, he's still, and I don't blame him for trying to show that he's coming up on the contract. He wants to show that he's a great quarterback, and sometimes he puts the ball in harm's way. And if he puts the ball in harm's way against Pittsburgh, it's gonna get the Houston Texans beat.
But before we dive, excuse me, into that matchup, let's just go back to the game a little bit last night because it was a good game. It was
Yeah, it
everything
was a
I
good game.
expected it to be. Really, I was like, it's going to be a good game. And sometimes, you're all hyped up for a game. You're like, what the heck? I was all excited for that, and it wasn't even good. But they were out there going throw for throw. Like, I still cannot understand or cannot fathom how Zay was just wide open out there. I mean, there was not a Steeler in the vicinity at all. I was like, where the heck did everybody go? Like, there's nobody over there. What the heck happened? It happened twice. I was
Yeah.
like, are we like paying attention tonight? Like, are we trying to lose on purpose or what's going on? Like, it was crazy. What did you think though about Lamar's performance before we go to the Aaron Rodgers side of
I thought Lamar played well last night. Um, he was able to, even those two plays with Zay, those were scramble plays
it?
that Zay
Yeah, he was
just
like
somehow
side, back,
got
forward.
deep in, and Lamar Jackson threw two great passes that
Hmm.
hit him right on the money. So yeah, I thought Lamar played very well. I thought he played well enough for the Ravens to win the football game last night. There was
I
just some
agree.
unfortunate circumstances with the kickers for both sides down the stretch.
Man,
And that's just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. It's just so ironic that you say to start the show off that it's only right that Aaron Rodgers goes to the playoffs on his last year. It seemed like to me that what was in the script, and if so, then I'm all for it. I ride with the
did you see
Steelers,
they had
but I
they
didn't
had
think the Steelers had no way of winning that game last night.
look, I always say there's a will, there's a way. I wholeheartedly believe that. I don't care who the team is. I'm like, look, if you come into it and you really believe and you're like everybody's of the same mindset, um, anything can happen. You know what I mean? It's always one turnover, one bad call, that just could make the difference. So, and unfortunately, we're here like, yes, Aaron Rodgers looked great, which he did. And so did Lamar. But if that kick goes in, then we're having a whole different conversation about
Right.
the Steelers. It's always like that. Today, oh Nasir, what's up? Look at Nasir here early. That game was a heartbreaker. I had
But
allergies immediately after the game. Your
right,
allergies kicked
I don't
right
think that
away
had
this
anything to
year.
do with the game. But the one turnover came from Lamar. It
It
was an
did.
unfortunate
It did.
situation. Uh,
I think
T.J.
it resulted
Watt
in
ended
three
up,
points, right? Did it result in 3 points? Did they get
yes.
3 points out of it?
So right,
You take
and
that away, they didn't win the game. If you think
correct,
about it like that, you know,
yeah, because essentially that was a playoff game last night,
it definitely was.
and
As if that's really what it was. After
right,
all of that,
and again, when you have a playoff game, turnovers cost you double, and that turnover ended up costing Baltimore the game ultimately. But at the same time, again, Lamar played a great game. Shout out to Mad Knox. I see you in the building.
what's up? What's up, Matt Knox? How art thou? Happy Monday. Um, I'm gonna they were kind of getting on Lamar earlier today, and I was like, what is the big deal what he said? I'm gonna play it for you. We probably saw it already, but just in case y'all know what we're talking about. Lamar Action Jackson, his comments after the game. I was like, y'all leave Lamar alone.
Chief Rocker was. I was on Chief Rocker's show earlier again. Some
Oh,
people
you
don't like
were?
the
Are you
truth.
listening?
Yeah, I
Well,
wasn't
now
on
he's
this show, but
busy. He must have been busy.
I was in this chat. And
Uh-huh.
some people just don't like the truth. But I'm glad Chief
No.
Rocker is here so he can get some of this ism.
What was the show about? Sports show or Raw side
Yeah,
of thing?
I mean, he talks about sports and he talks about a lot of things, but they
Mm,
do a lot of you know I I I call it race
uh-oh.
baiting. race baiting, like
Okay,
everything
okay.
is he's getting treated this way because he's black, and like, come on,
Uh-oh.
man,
I know
miss
how
me
you
with
feel
that,
about
right?
that. All right, let me go share this. He said, "Man, you don't want this." I see. He said, "You don't want this."
Chief a good dude though when he want to be.
All right.
About next year, Jameson. Like I'm so caught up in what just happened tonight. I can't focus on that right now. I just told you. Like he asked me, "Are you stunned?" I'm stunned right now. I'm still trying to process what's going on. Like I know we lost, but what the like that's all.
Do you want to see John remain the coach for next year?
I, that's you asking me about next year, Jameson. Like I'm so caught up in what just happened tonight. I can't focus on that right now. I just told you. Like he asked me, "Are you stunned?" I'm stunned right now. I'm still trying to process what's going on. Like I know we lost, but what the like that's all.
All right. So, hey, big dog, what's up, my guy? What's up? What's up?
Big dog, big game this week. You got them
Right?
Eagles, man. Them Eagles coming,
Fly,
man.
fly, Eagles, fly.
Is
Maybe
yes,
cry,
fly
Eagles,
Eagles
cry.
fly.
We're gonna find out.
Yeah,
But they were kind of saying that Lamar put the coach in the hot seat with his comments because he didn't like he could have come out and said we just lost a tough game, but I want the coach to stay. I really believe in the coach or whatever have you, but he didn't. I didn't see anything wrong with this, but what are your thoughts?
yeah. I mean, after a football game, it's very emotional, especially after of a game of that magnitude.
Hmm.
That's not a good time to throw those hot seat. I mean, those kind of questions at the quarterback.
That's when
Like,
they
get
do
him,
it. You know that.
get
That's why they try to
right.
get you when
So,
you're emotional.
right. So that's what they try to do. I understand what the media tries to do, but
You can't say that.
right. That's what he should have told him though. He should have told him the F off, man. Look, I mean, pretty much that's what he did tell him. He just didn't say the F word. But yeah, I mean, that's not the time to be asking that type of question. Ask him that today, and
Oh,
then let him give his
Here goes
answer.
Nasir. He couldn't take 15 minutes to put on a suit. Jalen definitely moves up the charts. This is our fashion expert, you guys.
Right,
If you don't
right,
know, Nasir
right.
is the fashion
No,
expert for all the QBs in the NFL and how
no,
they should dress and present themselves.
no. Lamar stay in them trenches, man. I ain't got nothing wrong with. I don't know. He might not even got no suit. I ain't never seen Lamar in the suit. It don't really matter. But I'm just saying, I think, and there's a lot of speculation that Harbaugh could be gone within the next 48 hours. But I don't think so. I think Harbaugh is going to coach at Baltimore at least one more year. I think they're going to run it back at least one more time and see, if they can revamp, add some extra players on
Yeah.
defense. They need another wide receiver on the offense. See what Derrick Henry got if he got one more hurrah on him, and let's see what we can do. But I don't think I'm just not ever a fan of getting rid of good coaches. I'm just not a fan of that.
Well, to go back quickly to what Lamar said before, to talk about what you just said about getting rid of good coaches, which is obviously, depending on how you look at it. But I don't see anything wrong with what Lamar said. The conversation was he kind of just put the nail in the coffin, his coach getting fired because he didn't come out and say, like, I want my coach to stay. Like Bijan Robinson, they spoke out, in favor of, Raheem keeping his job, although he did not. But they came
Right,
out and definitely said, hey, they want him to stay, and Lamar didn't. But it's like everybody's different, like, like everybody's different, so they fully expected that kick was going to go in. Like they were ready to celebrate and go on, next week, into the playoffs. And that was like not what happened at all, So there's nothing wrong with what he said. They be trying to bait you, when you're emotional, asking you certain questions, see what you're going to say. I think he did the best he could,
right,
given the circumstances. Everyone's not, everybody processes their emotions and their thoughts, in different times. And I always say this: these people are still human, and it's because they make millions don't mean not now nothing. They still human beings, and they make a mistake from time to time.
right.
Although I didn't think it was a mistake. But back to what you were saying about not a fan of getting rid of good coaches. How long has he been there? How many seasons?
He's been there a while. He's been
About
there maybe
16, 18 seasons,
yeah
something like that. It's been a hot
yeah.
minute. And
Nah,
how
yeah,
many
he's
Super
been
Bowls
there
did
a
he win?
while. Yeah, he's won a Super Bowl with the Ravens. He's
He's
been a
won
good
A, like that one, right? Like
yeah, yeah. I mean,
singular.
shoot, man, it's a lot of
So,
most coaches haven't even won that.
no, what
So
I was gonna say was, this like I always say, I don't advocate for somebody to get fired because people we all got bills out here, right? That's how I feel about it.
right,
But my thing is, at some point, if it's not moving forward, then what do you do? Do you just stay right here and just stay, parked, because you're afraid to see what else on the other side? If you have Lamar, you got Derrick Henry, you have the best O line or top five O line, top five defense, and it's still not translated in playoff wins and ultimately Super Bowl, at least getting there, let alone winning one. Something got to change at some point. I don't know. Now, I'm not saying fire him this season. I would like to see what happens next season. If I'm ownership before I move forward.
right.
But I always say that, like at some point, if it's not moving forward, then what's the goal here? We got to ask ourselves. Like you could still be a great coach, but sometimes it's just time to move forward for the coach and for the team.
Yeah. Well, sometimes it ain't even on the coach. I mean, like if they have multiple years of missing the playoffs, then I was like, okay, maybe the message is not getting through.
Mm-hmm.
But the Ravens have been successful. I mean, then you look at let's just take last year for example.
With Mark Andrews,
He,
what?
right, they called the perfect play to get to where they were gonna go. Sometimes the players are not executing, and when the players don't execute, the coaches did everything possible to put you in the
Mm-hmm.
position to win, and the players don't execute. I don't see how that's on the coach. The coach
Mm-hmm.
did everything right. Sometimes the players just got to take accountability for not executing and getting the job done. And so if it's
I mean, there
not
was
just
a
terrible, if it's
few
not
things
clock
before.
management. Right. If it's not clock management issues, if it's not, like bad play calling or that type of thing, or if your team just is not playing with a lot of effort, there are a lot of
Mm-hmm.
penalties, things of that nature, then I say, you know what, the coach is not coaching
Mm-hmm.
good. But
Mm-hmm.
in Harbaugh's situation, I mean, their defense is not good at all. They have the worst secondary in all of football.
Okay.
I think they're ranked number 30 in pass defense out of 32 teams. That's awful. So and Marlon Humphreys isn't the same. He's long in the tooth.
I think that DC is he's gonna go.
Cal Hamilton got hurt last night when he got ran into his own player. I
Yeah,
mean, it's a
there
lot
was
of
some crucial injuries too, like in the middle of the game. They were
right,
already hobbled to begin with, so that they definitely was playing a little bit different after those injuries. I felt bad. I was like, dang, is somebody else gonna go out? Like they can't afford to lose anybody else.
right. Shout out to T
What's up,
Dub. What's
Tony?
up, T Dub? I see you out there. T Dub be doing his thing on the wheels of steel, man. But yeah, like I said, I run it back with Harbaugh at least one more year. Let's see what we
I
got.
agree.
Let's see if he can win it, with Lamar. He won it with Flacco. And after Flacco was Lamar. So I mean he ain't too far removed from winning the championship. I mean, you might be looking at what 10 years or so. Like to me, that's not far. That's not a long time,
Did you say 10 years or so?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. How long Lamar been in the league? About 7, 8 years.
Yeah, but I would say
So
about maybe
Flacco,
8.
Flacco was there before. Flacco probably won the Super Bowl 2 or 3 years before Lamar got there. Yeah, I
Hold on. So
mean,
we should understand you correctly. You're saying another 10 years, or you saying another 2 years to get to
no,
the 10?
no. I'm saying 10 years is not too far removed to me from winning the Super Bowl.
Oh,
Like if
okay,
you won
okay.
a
I
Super
was like,
Bowl 10 years ago, that's recent in my
no,
opinion.
no, no. I thought you meant like, let's see what happens in the
Oh
next 10
no.
years.
No,
I
no,
was like,
no,
well,
no,
okay, now
not
hold
not
on, hold on. I'm like, I got you. I agree with you with the 1 year, but now we're going to a whole other decade.
Now, if he in the
Hold
playoffs
on.
10 years in a row, then I'm gonna be more inclined to be like keep him because, like you said, if you make the playoffs, you got a chance.
Mm-hmm.
My concern is if you have a quarterback of Lamar's caliber
Mm-hmm.
and you missing the playoffs, then I'm like, okay,
Some of it has also been like Lamar's play. Obviously, Derrick Henry fumbled. There were a lot of things. I know everybody remembers, and they stay stuck on Mark Andrews, but
right.
there was things that led up before they even got to that point. You know
Oh
what I
yeah,
mean?
Lamar turned the
Um,
ball over twice in that same
and
game.
then
He threw two
Derrick Henry as
picks.
well. And then you think about what happened the year before, like they abandoned the run, and
Right,
then you think about the year before that. I think was it Zay Flowers who dropped
right.
in
Zay
end
Flowers
zone.
with the
It's
fumble.
like
Right,
it's always something that that happens like
right.
in the game,
Those
like
on the
right at the
players.
crucial times too. Exactly.
Right.
I did not understand why they abandoned the run. I was like screaming at the TV, like, "What are y'all doing?" Like, I'm like, "What? Are you, like, what happened?" And even last night, something I don't know what's going on with Derrick Henry. It's like in the beginning, the first half of the game, Derrick Henry's out there just running roughshod all over the place. Then the second half, he's like, "You like, where's Derrick Henry at? Like, is he hurt? Like, why is he not playing as
Yeah.
much?" I'm like, and they did that a few times this season, and it usually resulted in losses. I'm like, why do you keep doing the same thing? Put him up in there.
Yeah. Pause, but yeah. Uh
uh, Nasir said, "How did Firemouth or TE get so wide open? I've never seen such an incompetence by a secondary." Well, I mean, you think about the other side of it. Was Zay wide open those two times as well? There was some lapses on both sides in terms of the.
all those are busted plays. Those are busted plays. Even the Calvin Austin touchdown, that was a busted play. And and when you got guys of that caliber who want the ball and they make plays. Um
Hold on, I gotta highlight this right here. Let me just pin this real quick. Because my guy Big Dog said 49ers versus Bills in the Super Bowl. You know what? Big Dog, me and you know, I don't care who else is there as long as the Bills are there. Let me be very, very clear, okay?
I
So
can say you quick to
you
just
go ahead.
jump ship like that. I had the Eagles
Look,
and the Bills and I thought you were around with me. Now some other dude come, he like, I got the 49ers for you, and you just switch over.
because he said Bills
I
versus
said
Bills.
Bills too.
You did. You absolutely did.
That's messed up, man.
I know. I know. But that's and I'm riding with Josh till the wheels fall off, y'all. I'm telling you.
I
So
mean, ain't no excuses for Josh. I'm pretty sure we gonna get there because
we are
considering
gonna
all the
get
other
there.
quarterbacks are out, all the other big dogs are out of the
The
playoffs.
teams are better though. There's a lot better
Yeah,
teams
I
though than
mean
the Bills,
Jacksonville
and I
gonna get
love
them
the Bills,
right.
but there are some great teams out there now. I
They
can't even
always
sound like
it's
I'm
the
just here.
playoffs. It's always gonna be great teams in the playoffs. That's
I
every
feel like
year.
this year because there's like so many more not more but yeah more you got the Bo Nixes, then like you just mentioned, the Jaguars kind of came on strong in the season. Nobody was expecting them to be here.
Right,
um uh Justin Herbert,
right.
he was
Easy
good last
road.
year. He kind of fell off, last year we saw what happened.
Easy road.
But we gonna see. It's all about matchups. You know what I mean? You got Mayday out there. So we gonna see how everything goes.
Easy
You know what I mean?
road. Easy road. There's no excuses for Josh this year. He
I
has to
don't.
get
I don't. No, I'm gonna give these teams some more respect and credit now than
you,
that. I'm not
you,
gonna.
you,
He's
you,
not gonna just be rolling over nobody at this
you
point.
you not got it. You
Um,
don't have to play Lamar. You don't have to play Pat Mahomes. Like
well, the only person he really had an issue with was Patrick Mahomes, and all those
right,
losses weren't
he
even
out.
weren't even on Josh. But Lamar, and I love Lamar, but he was handled respectfully
Right.
last
Well,
season.
like I said, if Mark Andrews catches a 2-yard pass, then we just having a different conversation.
If who catches the pass?
Mark Andrews.
Well then, yeah, we're going to overtime possibly because the Bills
Right.
still had time to get that ball back. You know what I mean? It wasn't
Yeah,
like
they
they
had time.
catch it and then they win the game. So
Yeah,
you
we
know,
would have had to see. That's what I'm saying. We would have had to see.
yeah, they would have had to get we would have to get the overtime first possibly, but the Bills still had time to get the ball back. So it wasn't like you catch it and you win the game. But I feel you though. I feel you. I feel you. Nasir, Zay's mistakes I can accept and look legitimate, but the others look suspect. I think it's suspect to have anybody on the offense wide open in this kind of game. And I mean, not a Steeler in sight to me, not once but twice was crazy. One time I can understand, like, oh man, like somebody like wasn't what he was supposed to be, but twice, not a Steeler in the vicinity at all. I'm like, what y'all doing?
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
I
it, that's
said
some
Bills. You have very interesting the fonts. I'm looking at the way your comments are coming in. Randall back. What's up, Randall? As a Bengals fan, watch out for them. Watch out for them Steelers. Nasir, I don't want to ban you. Okay, keep it cute. I don't want to ban you this year. Jags are not winning anything. All right, Nasir, positive vibes for Joshua Tyrell. Texans play in the dome. And it should be a really
Yeah,
good
it's
game.
gonna
I'm
be
glad.
some interesting games this weekend.
There's
I
a
mean,
lot of
all of them
interesting
gonna be
games.
interesting. Yeah, all of them gonna be interesting.
All right, y'all. I'm gonna move on a little bit. We'll fast forward. Oh yeah, just going to the really quickly to the Aaron Rodgers side of it. What do you think? How far do you see Aaron Rodgers leading the Steelers team this postseason?
I told you just one game. I think the
You don't
Texans
you
have a
don't you don't
better
think you
team.
don't think that he can outplay C.J. Stroud to put some more points on that board?
I mean, Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers. I do think he can. I mean, I would go as far as say Aaron Rodgers is better than C.J. Stroud. Like if I
Well,
was
I
to
mean,
pick
yeah,
one quarterback over the other, I'm not
we
talking
have to
about.
say we have to say that.
I'm not talking about all time. I'm talking about 41-year-old Aaron Rodgers is better than
Mm-hmm.
however old C.J. Stroud is right now.
He is right now. Absolutely, I
Right,
agree.
right. So
The way
from that
CJ's been looking.
standpoint, but man, that Houston Texans defense is boy, they one of the best defenses I've seen. Like I said, in order I can put them up there with the historical great defense, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers of '99.
Mm-hmm.
You know those early 2000 Ravens defenses,
Mm-hmm.
but those defenses won the Super Bowl. So this Texans team will have to win the Super Bowl with, I mean, with a better quarterback than what those teams had because they had Trent Dilfer and Brad Johnson. I mean, these guys are at best game managers. CJ Stroud is a little bit better than those guys, but those guys knew one thing: my defense is so good. All I got to do is not turn the ball over.
Mm-hmm.
And if CJ Stroud can just not give the ball to the other team, this defense is good as any defense in the league over the
Defense is great.
last 10, 15 years. So I expect the Houston Texans to give Aaron Rodgers trouble. But if CJ Stroud put the ball in harm's way and give Aaron Rodgers a short field, then
Mm-hmm.
anything is possible at that point.
I think I think CJ Stroud is going to struggle in this game, and that'll be the downfall. I don't think it'll be the defense. I think it'll be CJ. Um, that'll be the reason why they lose this game ultimately. And when Mike Tomlin finally gets finally past the first round, and God knows how long. Hold on real quick. Referring to the last 3 to 4 years of Ravens season-ending losses and the weather. I don't know what the weather's going to be. Oh, and they're back in Pittsburgh. Okay.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
right, right, right. It's a
they're
home
gonna
game
win.
for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
It is,
Right,
yeah. That crowd
right.
is gonna be rocking. They were rocking when he missed that kick last night.
Oh
The crowd
yeah.
was going berserk. I was
Oh
like,
yeah.
man.
Pittsburgh Steelers fans are some of the best fans in all of football.
All right, you guys. So we had a lot of fire say really quickly. We're gonna go to. I was not surprised with this. Pete Carroll and Jonathan Gannon was fired. I fully expected both of them to be fired. I was not surprised at
Yeah.
all by it, not one single bit. Arizona, I don't know. Like 2 seasons ago, Arizona was like picking up momentum. And then we were like, okay, look at this. Kyle Murray gets paid. You're excited for what happens the next season. And it just went downhill. I don't know what's going on in Arizona. They benched Colin Murray and then they put Jacoby in there and he didn't look too much better after like that 1 or 2 games. Like I don't know what's going on in Arizona. They just need like a whole shakeup all the way around. I feel like.
Yeah.
What are you thoughts about Arizona though? You think they should keep Kyler Murray or they should
Oh, it's over with Kyler
Kobe or
Murray.
what? What do you think?
That's a wrap. So they got to go and they got to find another quarterback. I don't know if they'll go in the draft and find a
Mm-hmm.
quarterback because I just don't know if they're gonna pick that low in order to get a guy. Like this is not really the year to pick a quarterback. Next year's draft
Mm-hmm.
is the quarterback draft.
Mm-hmm.
So would they go and try to get a guy like Malik Willis? Will he be available? Will they look into the Mac Jones situation? But before they can even get there, they got to figure out who the next head coach is going to be.
Who do you
And
think? Who do you like for Arizona? Will be a good fit over
shoot,
there.
man, when you got a mess like that, you might want to just start with a fresh face, a first
Mm-hmm.
timer, a coach who maybe is deserving of an opportunity to coach in the NFL, and maybe a one of those offensive coordinators who's been doing great over the last few years.
Like Joe Brady.
A Clint Kubiak,
Mm.
Joe Brady, but a lot of teams are starting to slow down on Joe Brady. Joe Brady was a
Mm-hmm.
hot name last year. Now
Mm-hmm.
this year is not so hot, So, but he might be a candidate. Maybe it's a defensive guy. Maybe it's a Robert Saleh. Maybe he gets back into coaching. Somebody like that. But whoever takes that job, they got to understand, and the hiring people have to understand that
It's gonna
this is
take a
a
while. Yeah.
project. It's gonna take a while. I
Yeah.
got to get a
Yeah.
quarterback in here first.
People don't. The ownership don't have. They don't have patience. So they don't want you to come in there and work miracles like right away. Like that's when you come into a place like that, like that's gonna take a minute. Like you got to be a little bit more
Well,
patient.
it's almost like the New Orleans Saints situation. Kellen Moore, it, New Orleans Saints was the worst job to take last year. Kellen
Mm-hmm.
Moore took the job, and what they did in the second round, they went out and got Tyler Shug. They allowed him to start developing Tyler Shug, and toward the end of the season, the Saints start showing promise. And now it looks like, okay, this year was the throwaway year. Next year they can
Mm-hmm.
really start building
Mm-hmm.
because maybe they found their quarterback and they can get him a whole off season to work and with the ones, get all the reps, get more deep in the playbook, watch more film. And next year, New Orleans Saints should be better than they were this year. And that's how you build. You
They
don't
should
fire
be.
Kellen Moore because the Saints were bad this year. You fire him based on, did I see progress from week to week? And from
Well, there
week to
was
week,
progress made. I will give you
right.
that.
And the
Arizona
one
ain't
thing
have no
about the
progress.
Saints,
I
one
don't know
thing
what
about the
happened there.
Saints watching their games this year, they play hard every game. Whether they
Mm-hmm.
were getting their head beat in or not, they play hard every game. So those are the things I look at when I'm looking at a head coach, a young head coach with a team that we know that's not ready to ascend to the higher
Mm-hmm.
echelon of the NFL. Are they playing hard every game, and are they progressively getting better throughout the weeks? I think the Saints did that, and whoever take the Arizona Cardinals job, that's the most you can expect. You can't expect them to be in the playoffs year one or anything like that. Can they play hard every game, and do they get better from week 1 to week 18?
Hold on. Now Kyler is my third favorite player. Unfortunately, we may need to settle for Vikings. And then go back to this other comment. Nico Collins needs to play his potential. He should be a top 5 wide receiver. On the flip side of it, going to the Pete Carroll side of things, they said Tom Brady will be more involved this go
Right.
around, in terms of the hiring, and then of course, getting the QB in there. Now they just paid Gino, so I don't know if they're
Mm-hmm.
gonna move on from him just yet. But the way they're talking about it, I'm not so sure his starting QB position is safe. I know you said you wouldn't get rid of Gino, because they have some of this
No.
they have wrong. Honestly speaking, I said this before. I know you like. I said it. Get rid of Max. There's no need to keep him there.
Oh yeah, he
Max
ain't
is
going
also
nowhere.
he's also older. You know what I mean? Like it's not like he's just coming to the NFL, and I know he got paid and everything, but what they're doing right now is going to take time. Like it's going to take a little while to build that back up and to get things in the right path. You know what I mean? I'm not on the side of wasting your youthful years. Like
Yeah.
once you get just a little longer than two than the NFL, they're ready to boot you up out of there and move on just that quick. I'm like, dude, it also what you can get because you're not winning with him. Obviously, like you like him, and he's been there for a while and the fans love him. But I don't think you can lose with anybody. Like you're already losing. I don't think like you keeping him there.
Right.
It's not like he's not like you guys are winning with him. Like you can lose with fifth rounder, so on and so forth. I would try to get rid of him and see who I can get in return. If I'm Max, I want to go to a contender. Do not waste my youthful years, like at all.
Nah, Max don't want to go nowhere, and they don't want to get rid of him. He a fan favorite. Plus, I'm just not a proponent of trying to win, but I'm gonna get rid of my best players. Like that's
Hmm.
that's going against.
Well, because they
How am
have
I
so
trying to
many.
win and I'm getting rid of my best player? Like
But
no,
they have so
I
much that needs to be done, though. It's not
well,
like they're
not
only like
really.
one or two
I think
pieces
I
away. Like they're quite a few pieces away. Starting with what's going on with the QB, because I'm not sold on what I saw from
yeah.
Gino this year.
Well, I don't think actually I think the Raiders is the best coaching job out there right now
Hmm.
because they have a quarterback who I know that is solid. Um, I think the Raiders' biggest problem, in my opinion,
Hmm.
is because Tom Brady was in on some of the roster decisions just last year.
Hmm.
That's why they decided to bring Pete Carroll in and why they end up bringing Geno Smith in. But sometimes, and historically, sometimes great players are not good at picking other players. They're just too great. Like Michael Jordan was the one of the worst owners and pickers of players in the
Hmm.
history of basketball. It's just Magic Johnson wasn't a good head coach. He wasn't a good general manager. Sometimes
Hmm.
players are so great they expect other players to be as great as them, and it don't work like that. They
Hmm.
don't understand how to get the role players and the glue pieces, and so that's the one thing that worries me about the Raiders is Tom Brady making any kind of decisions. I just don't know if he's that good of a decision maker when it comes to picking personnel. Now, I think Pete Carroll was a bad hire. I think Chip Kelly was a bad hire. And you
Do you think
left.
you think they got rid of Antonio too quickly?
I do. I do think they got rid of. I thought Antonio Pierce was a good coach. He motivated players. Players wanted to play
He
for
definitely
him. They were willing.
motivated them. I thought it
They were
was. I
willing
was
to
like, give him at
run
least one more year.
right. And he was in a situation where he really didn't have a quarterback. I mean, he's playing with Aiden O'Connell and I forget the other quarter. Like I'm like, who are
Exactly. I
these
was
guys?
like, huh?
And they in the games. They beat the Kansas City Chiefs when the Chiefs were trying to win. Like they were really playing. I mean, he was
Hmm.
running with Zamir White, and I was like, who are these guys? He out here playing with. But they were running through a brick wall for Antonio
They
Pierce.
were, and that's important. Like you want your players to believe in what the coach is saying in the locker room. Are they playing hard for him? Even if they lose, are they playing hard for him? And they were. I thought it was a mistake. I was like, man, give him at least one more, at least one more season.
Right. So I really think the Raiders, if they can get the right coaches in there,
Hmm.
they can get the right head coach, and he can build his staff, and he get the right piece, guys in the staff that they can build a system. Then I think they have the better chance to be better before all those other teams because all those other teams, I'm just looking around, they either got a young quarterback who you're still gonna have to have time to develop,
Hmm.
or they got a whole mess at quarterback. And the Raiders, at least they had Geno. And Geno might not, he's not a first tier quarterback to me. He's in that second tier range. But
Just give it
he's a
third tier.
well, he's better than Baker Mayfield. I put Baker Mayfield and those
This
guys in third.
the
I got
performance this
Geno in there
year is
with
given.
Dak, like Dak Prescott, Geno, like those guys are in that second tier to me. I'm not
I
gonna
can't put
not.
I can't
I'm
put
not gonna
Gino. I don't
take
think Gino's
Geno
as
off
good as that.
the. I'm not gonna take him off the second tier because he had a bad year with what I saw in Oakland was outside of the
He
Jets.
wasn't that good last year.
I think Oakland and the Jets were the worst two operated franchises that I've seen this year.
Hmm.
Well, they just had no idea of how they even were gonna even try to win football games. Like, what
Hmm.
are you even try? What are you even trying to do? Like, I'm glad Aaron Glenn. I hope he can keep his job for this year, and they
I hope
give him
so.
another
Yeah, this
opportunity.
season. Yeah.
But I'm like, come on, bro. Like, this is terrible. Like, what's y'all playing? How y'all gonna win games this week? Like,
Hmm.
what's the strategy? There ain't no strategy. I mean, what I saw, like, I'm watching these games. I'm like, I don't give a damn who's at quarterback in Las Vegas. He wasn't. You could put Josh Allen back there. He was gonna be terrible. And then you could do. You could put Pat Mahomes back there. It don't matter. I mean, they had the worst offensive line in the league. I mean, it was just I don't. They traded away his best
I think
wide receiver.
if you
The
pick
tight
Pat
end.
or Josh back there, it's gonna look a little bit better.
The tight end, okay, they traded the best wide receiver. He wanted to
Hmm.
get paid before the season. He asked for a trade before the season. You didn't want to
Hmm.
trade him. finally you did trade him because the trade deadline was coming up. Brock Bowers, who is other, he missed 4 or 5 weeks with the injury. So now he's throwing a guy. I don't even know some of these guys. I'm like, this is impossible. You gave him an impossible task and asked him to be great. And there's no way he was. So I just
I
can't
don't even
knock
think he was
Gino.
good.
I'll give him that
We,
much,
we
you know.
agree. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll give Gino that much blame because he went out there, but I think Gino earned a lot of respect from his teammates because he showed up every week and he battled and he was getting his ass beat every week and he was staying in the games. And I was like, man, that's some warrior stuff right there. That's some warrior stuff. I commend Gino for what he did this year.
Well, now let me. There's a difference between between your character and your willingness to be a fighter and get in there, get in those trenches, even if you're
Right.
getting your ass kicked. I'm here for that. But the performance, to me, like he's regressed. Like I mean, last year I don't think he was good, and obviously they didn't think he was good either, which is why I know they were ready to move on from him. I'm gonna read some of these comments real quick. Falcons is the best job. Get rid of Kirk and get Kyler. What is it with you and Kyler this year?
I don't
Honestly
know what's
speaking,
wrong with him and Kyler.
um, drop
Kyler
it in
ain't
the
that
chat.
good.
What's going on
Kyler
with
ain't
you and
good. I'd rather have Kirk
Kyler?
Cousins than Kyler.
You know, Kyler, he's strong, he's fast, but I don't know. Like after that half a season where like they started making some progress, then he got paid. He just kind of I don't know what's going on with him since then. Gino with wide receivers is second tier. I mean, you said it about quite a few QBs. You know, you pair this QB with this type of talent, like everybody can go
Yeah,
up
I
a
mean,
notch,
all
right?
second tier quarterbacks, second and third tier quarterbacks, that's what make them second and third tier. That they do need a lot of weapons around them. Where the first tier guys can almost like Pat Mahomes was winning without top wide receivers. Lamar Jackson, he wins without top wide receivers. Josh Allen wins without top wide receivers. That's what makes you first tier. When you can
Mm-hmm.
just go out there and pretty much
You
win the
are a game
game because
changer.
right. But you got to become a game manager to win it all. At some point, you got to know how to manage a game.
DJ, hold on, DJ. What's up, DJ? By the way, Gino was amazing.
DJ,
When are we talking about a few seasons ago? Are we talking about last season or this season? Because I didn't see an amazing performance from Gino at all this season. Maybe I missed something. And the see, I'm waiting for you to put in the chat. What's with you and Kyler? I'm curious your thoughts. So for the head coaching position, Pete Carroll's out. Who are you thinking, or who would you like? A whole new face, someone who's experienced. What are your thoughts on the hiring process?
well, I mean, there's a few guys out there who fit the bill. Um,
Brian Daboll, Mike McCarthy.
no, I don't think Brian Daboll is gonna be up for a head coaching job so fast. Not so fast. Maybe he'll get an
Mhm.
offensive coordinator job. Maybe he'll get a college job, or maybe he sits out a year and see the landscape of the league, and maybe he'll get
Mhm.
back then. But I don't see Brian Daboll getting a job right now. Right now, the head coach that everybody seems to have on their radar at some point they'll bring in is Kevin Stefanski. And
Mhm.
considering that the Raiders do have a quarterback sort of in place, a solid guy, in the right system, he might be able to win good. I mean, you got to get Geno weapons and you got to shore up the offensive line. But right now, it's wide open. I don't know who Tom Brady and those guys are looking at, but right now, it seems like every team has Kevin Stefanski and Clint Kubiak on their radar. So, you know, we'll see who they bring in this week.
Speaking of which, we're gonna move on to since you brought him up, we're just gonna go right over there. We're gonna go to Cleveland Browns because they fired Kevin Stefanski. And honestly, I kind of had a change of heart. I did. You know me. You were going back and forth. He was going back and forth about Kevin Stefanski. He was getting heated sometimes. Like he's driving me crazy. Defend Kevin Stefanski. Stop it. But I will say, like the past 2 weeks, maybe he wanted to keep his job. So I don't know. Maybe it's why he was doing some things differently. But let's just say it's genuine. There were some things I saw that shifted between him and Shador, like in terms of how they interacted with one another. Maybe they had to get to spend some more time together. They had to I don't know, have a heart to heart, a kumbaya, or something, one of the off days. I don't know, but there was something that shifted, and I liked it. I like that he started to show more trust and confidence in Shador, like going for it, as opposed to just saying punt it away. He said, "Okay, go ahead, go for it." You know what I mean? It didn't always work out, but he showed that confidence and that trust. Like, okay, go ahead. You know what I mean? So there was just little things that I saw that was like, okay, you know what, maybe, I know maybe I'm and also speaking of going back to how everything happened, like you do put him at a disadvantage, and this is where I got to put some of the blame on Jimmy because you're the owner. You know what I mean? You bringing in two rookies, they both need time to develop. It's and then you got Joe Flacco there, and then who else was there?
Kenny
Kenny
Pickett,
Pickett.
Tyler Huntley.
Then Deshaun is doing his recovery
Right.
at the time. So there was so much going on. You know, if you draft somebody in the third round, rightfully so, you got to give them their time, and their reps, so that means the other person who goes later is going to be affected, and then he gets hurt, and then he doesn't come back because Shador is playing, so his development was cut short. I put some of that, a lot more of that on ownership, than Andrew also because if the head coach wants to draft a QB in the third round or second round, you're like, wait, I want to get this other QB in the fourth or fifth round, then you're going to run into some problems when you already got two QBs already there to begin with. So now you got four of them, and then again,
Right.
Deshaun Watson, who's got that fully guaranteed money, in the back burner. So it was just a lot that was mismanaged, and it wasn't all on Kevin Stefanski. But if I'm him, I'm like, whatever. Like,
Oh yeah.
I'm out of it.
Stefanski,
I'm out of
I'm happy that they fired me.
it.
I mean, I was hearing rumors that if they didn't fire him, he was gonna leave anyway. He was gonna ask out. So, I'm
Yeah,
just
so he had
happy
a
that
meeting with the owners earlier today. They told him, at least they told him
right,
face to face. At least they
right,
had they
and
told him,
and
gave him that
and
respect.
right. In all my years of seeing a coach get fired, I've never seen a coach get fired and everybody just had great things to say about him. He's a great father, husband. He's just a great guy. He's part of like Andrew Berry sat there and told a story about how he had to go tell his children that Kevin Stefanski might not be there anymore. And he told his 4-year-old daughter that they might have to get rid of Kevin Stefanski. And she said, yeah, but will he still be able to come over and play with us? Like he's like family to them. Like, and
Hmm.
Jimmy Haslam spoke. He was like, this is the hardest decision I've ever had to make in coaching because of the great person that he is that I'm letting go. And
Hold on,
and
I'm just go ahead. I'm gonna play this while you're talking. Go ahead, I'm listening.
and Jimmy Haslam also had the knowledge that I made a lot of mistakes as an owner that really didn't give Kevin Stefanski an opportunity. Kevin Stefanski didn't sign off on Deshaun Watson. That was Jimmy Haslam signing off on Deshaun Watson deal.
Hmm.
So I mean, it's just a lot. I'm glad he out of that mess. He's gonna get an opportunity to go somewhere where hopefully they already have a young quarterback there that he can work with and he can groom and he can develop and he can grow. A lot of New York Giants have been where a lot of people are linking Kevin Stefanski to the Giants. We'll see if that goes. Jackson Dart even spoke on it. They were asking Jackson Dart about Kevin Stefanski, and he was like, "Yeah, I love the guy." I wouldn't. So he's already kind of signing off on him. But he was the best coach Cleveland ever had. And it's like coaches don't no coach has success in Cleveland. I mean, Bill Belichick was in Cleveland. Then he went to New England and the rest is history. So I mean, sometimes that's just where you gotta cut your teeth at. You gotta go and cut your teeth in Cleveland, and then once you leave Cleveland, you can go somewhere else and you can be successful, or you can not ever coach again if they beat you down too bad. So
Hold on, let me go some of these comments real quick. DJ said, "Why not? Why not? What?
I
You
think
talking about Gino? You talking about Gino? When I
he
said
was
he
either
wasn't,
saying
he
him or
wasn't
Kyler
anything.
Murray. I don't. It's one of the two.
Dayball was coach of the year. And then Sear, who's riding for Kyler to be the best high school player to come out of Texas, you don't become a bust in the NFL. Kyler is great with an above average O line and two good to great wide receivers. So, and that's the case, then what's the difference between him and Gino?
Man,
Or him and anybody else?
high school
Everybody needs weapons. Everybody got to
high
have
school
weapons. You
football
gotta have
and
something.
NFL football are two different
Very
things.
true. And there's college as well. You
I
know.
say this: I saw Kyler Murray play, and he had Marvin Harrison,
Mm-hmm.
Jr., and he had
Oh,
Michael
I forgot
Wilson,
about him.
and and he couldn't get them the ball. He can only get it to the running back and the tight end. And you put Jacoby Brissett in there, and Marvin Harrison started looking like Marvin Harrison, and Michael Wilson all of a sudden he started looking like a number one wide receiver. So I mean, he has trouble throwing to the outside guys. If you just want to throw to the running back and the tight end, which teams will figure out, then he's injury prone because he's so I'm not gonna say because he's small, but he's fragile and he runs a lot. And when he gets
He
hit,
does.
he end up missing games. And so over the course of his career, he's never made the playoff. He's missed a
Mm-hmm.
lot of games, and he doesn't utilize the weapons that they got for him. They got Marvin Harrison for you. I remember just last year, he wasn't throwing to Marvin Harrison. They were like, "Why you not throwing to Marvin Harrison?" He was like, "Is that what I was supposed to be doing?" Like, yes, this is why they took him in the top 5, fool. So you can have a weapon. Yes, you're supposed to be throwing to Marvin Harrison. Like, stop. Like, so I wouldn't take Kyler Murray on my team. Not if I'm trying to win.
Oh, hold on. Let me go really quickly before I play this clip, Shador. The cult of Shador will do whatever necessary to remove, discredit, or demonize anything that makes the Golden Goose uncomfortable. DJ said no. I gotta. You talking about again? You talking about no to who, DJ? Your comments. I'm reading a little bit later. Trying to keep up with what you're saying, who you're talking about. Why do you think Dayball won't get a job? He was. I don't think you said he won't. You said you
No,
think he
I
took
didn't say he won't.
take a season or something off. You said right,
Right.
like right now.
Right. Or I think he might get an offensive coordinator job. I mean, he's done great work as an offensive coordinator. And if he wants to be a head coach, I'm not saying that he can't be a head coach. I just don't know if teams are high up on him, like right off the bat. Like Clint Kubiak, you hearing his name in just about everything. Kev Stefanski, you're hearing his name in a lot. You're hearing Robert Saleh might get another job. A lot of people are pushing for Brian Flores to get another opportunity, even though I don't think Brian
I would
Flores,
like for him to.
yeah, I don't think he'll ever get another coaching job again. But a lot of people are throwing his name out there as a guy they want to see to get another opportunity. So,
Marvin drops
we'll
Harrison.
see. Yeah, Marvin Harrison, he drops passes. He's had the dropsies, sometimes, but still, he's gonna be open and he's gonna catch more passes than he drops.
Let me play this really quickly. Mm-hmm.
I used to like when Daniel Jones was in New York. I used to tell people I like Daniel Jones. I never was really down on him. I didn't think he got the job done, but considering the Giants had a poor offensive line while he was there, I used to see Daniel Jones take a beating and get back up and get back up. I always said, man, I like him. I like him because he keeps taking these beatings and he keep getting up. And
He did. He did. He didn't. That he did.
Shador, we know what you said yesterday after the game about Kevin and how much you've learned from him and sort of understanding each other. What's your reaction to the news that he's no longer your coach?
We just found out a couple of seconds ago, but I think it's just overall the mentality, like things are gonna happen. That's just how the league is, and moving forward, just focus on what we can improve, individually for the next head coach.
Shooter, do you think you did enough to show everybody, or I guess show Andrew Berry that you should be the starter heading into 2026?
I think I did what I was able to do, and I definitely grew from a lot of things, and I got experience now. So I'm always the same, like confidence wise. I'm there, but like that's not in my hands. Like that's not my decisions. I can't speak on what other people feel.
What does the offseason look like for you? How are you going to spend it? And is it kind of weird, like
this might be the first time you're going to an offseason not knowing who your head coach is before, outside of last season.
Yeah, well, this year been the first year with a different head coach than Pop, so that was the adjustment off rip, and it was cool, it was straight. Like building different relationships, like in different circumstances, situations, which is always good to have those life goals and have those life lessons around, just to have them on building blocks, so then you prepare to any situation. So that's what this last year, pretty much been.
So, with that being said, what do you think? I thought there's so much maturity I see in Shador from how he used to answer questions like at the beginning of the season, and how
Right.
he's grown in the season. So shout out to him for that. I always gotta recognize or acknowledge the growth. It's such a weird question when you ask somebody like, "Do you think you've done enough?" And yeah, I did. No, I didn't. It's like kind of a trick question, 'cause if you say yeah, and they're like, oh, heck no, you had like 10 interceptions, or you're too
Right.
arrogant. And if he says no, and they're like, well, if he don't believe in himself,
Lacks
then who else
confidence,
is,
right?
like,
Yeah.
you're trying to, but he answered it, I think, as best as he could, honestly speaking.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty sure it was an adjustment not having his dad as the head coach after all of those years of just being with his dad.
Right.
Obviously as his head coach, so there's a whole new world outside of, NFL is a whole new world anyway, but navigating that without your dad being your head coach for the first time ever, I'm sure made it, a little bit more challenging. But fast forward, do you think that Shador has done enough to show Andrew Berry, like, stick with me, develop me, and give me some weapons in this draft? We got 10 picks. Use them to develop and beef up this O line, and get a couple more pieces maybe on the defense, and see what I can do next season.
Well, I would say my bias in it, because I believe that Shador can be a good starting quarterback in this league.
Hmm.
Um, I would like for them to build around him, but statistically, he was the worst rookie quarterback in the league this year. And I believe I was listening to a guy on the Cleveland radio, one of the Cleveland radio hosts, and they talk about football and the Browns all the
Hmm.
time. And he was saying something that I did agree with. If the Browns don't take a quarterback in the draft, I would have a quarterback competition. I'm not handing anybody the key. I'm not just giving anybody the keys. I'm having a quarterback competition between Deshaun Watson, Shador, and Dylan Gabriel. That's what I'm gonna do. But what I would have liked, because they talked to Andrew Berry, they asked Andrew Berry the same question that you asked me. And
Hmm.
Andrew Berry didn't give him, that bold of confidence. I would have liked if Andrew Berry would have came out and said, "We got our
I
guy
don't think he
Shador."
was. I don't think he was going to. Not right now. I think they're
Yeah,
going to wait
but
to see what happens, especially
that's
because you bring the new coach in. Like, I think that's why he didn't come
right.
out like really
And
give his
exactly.
true honest thoughts.
And I get it. And I get that.
Mhm.
But this is the problem. This is a part of why you got the mess that you're in right now.
Yeah.
Because you didn't commit to a guy. You got all the equal. You bought Flacco in. You got Pickett. Deshaun Watson coming back. You took Dylan Gabriel in the third round. You took Shador in the fifth. You ain't commit to nobody. At the
Yeah.
quarterback position, you got to commit to a guy and ride with him. And if it's a young guy, you have to ride with him and put your trust in him and develop him. I would
Hmm.
have liked for Andrew Berry to say, "We got our guy Shador. We ride with Shador, and we're gonna use these draft picks that we got to build around Shador. He's our guy." Now you got something to work for him to work towards in the offseason, and you're building up his confidence, knowing that
Yeah.
he can go and not let the team down. He has a great opportunity, but now it's like, are they gonna take a quarterback who's available? Okay, they don't take a quarterback. I still got Deshaun Watson here. He gonna want to
Hmm.
play. I got Dylan Gabriel here. He was drafted. He still was drafted before me. He's gonna want to play. And maybe the new coach like me. Maybe the new coach don't like me. Maybe the new
Yeah,
coach
that's true too.
thinks that he should have a quarterback competition. Maybe the new coach is coming in. He already got a guy from the old team he was at, and he gonna bring one of his guys with him. Like, I don't know. So it's all in limbo once again. That's why I would have just cleaned house if I was Jimmy Haslam. But we'll see. Even though I'm not mad that Andrew Berry kept his job, anytime a brother can keep his job, especially the general manager job, I'm cool with it.
Amen.
I would have understood if he would have got fired though, because
Yeah.
he created a mess. But he did make some good picks in the draft, and I think those picks in the draft is what saved his job.
Forgot what I was gonna say while you were talking. I had my thought in my head and I forgot. Um, when I posted like a quick short about this earlier, so one of my comments said they don't think that Andrew Berry is not gonna hire is going to hire someone who doesn't have the same mindset about Shador. You
Right.
know, now the fan, like the supporter in me, you know, who wants to see Shador win, is like, I hope that that's true. But honestly speaking, I don't know if that's true. You know what I mean? That they might have a whole different idea of what they want. They might not want any of them there. You know, Deshaun Watson, I think, is obviously a different story because you got to pay him like, was it 90 million, 80 million, something like that, guaranteed this year. I don't know anybody sick on that contract, so he might just be stuck there regardless.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
Dylan and Shador, the coach might say, I don't really like either one of them. You know, but if, you know, the coach does say, I'm okay with, you know, if you're going to do a QB competition, please, for the love of God, you got to pick one person at the end of this and ride with them. Please, let's
Yes.
QB competition and then let it linger on and get into the season again. And you got Dylan Gabriel half the games 1 through 5 and Shador games
Right.
6 through 10, and then Deshaun comes in, you know, for the final 6 or 7. Like, please, like for love of God, and for my anxiety, I just choose
Yeah.
one of point. If it's gonna be a competition, okay, I'm all for it. Let them battle it out in the off season, preseason games, and then you choose one who you're gonna focus on. But at the same time, when you do that, you know, you still got other pieces that you want to bring in. You know, like you know,
Right.
you need pieces on that O line and everything. So that's the thing about it, man. You know, when you're not really sure who you want, you know, it leaves a lot other things up, you know, for interpretation, you know, and try to figure out what you want to do, you know. So I just hope that they figure it out, honestly speaking, and rather sooner than later. So at least if you don't
Well,
want to keep Shador, he can get a chance to go someplace else. If you don't want to keep Dylan, maybe someone else will take him and develop him. But you know, do right by him moving forward, and right by the
right.
organization as
Well, Andrew is gonna have to pick a head coach who can win games, because that's what the owner is expecting. He's told his fans, you know, this winning 8 games over the last 2 seasons, this ain't gonna cut it. We ready to start winning games on a consistent basis.
well.
So
Then get
he
some
got to get
pieces
a
also on that O
right.
line.
He got to get a coach in there that can win games, and it's gonna be to Andrew Berry's advantage if he gets a coach who does have some say on who's going to be the quarterback, you know, as
Shador may need to
opposed to
leave as
just
well.
hiring a guy because this is the quarterback I want you to work with. And if you bring
Hmm.
a coach in who you know goes and watches him and see it, and he was like, this ain't the quarterback I want to work with, this ain't the quarterback I believe I can win with, then you put him at a disservice. So get a quarterback, I mean get a head coach who can come in, he can evaluate all the positions, particularly the quarterback position, and then he can make the decision on what he wants to do going forward at quarterback, because his system is going to have to evolve around that quarterback. And if his system, if the quarterback doesn't work in his system, then it ain't gonna make no sense that he has that quarterback. So I don't know. They got a mess in Cleveland that has to be cleaned up. And unfortunately, the guy that made the mess is being responsible for cleaning it up.
And I put Jimmy in there as well. You know what I mean? Because look,
Right.
you know, like you owner, you know what I mean? You're the owner. You have the ability to say, look, no, I don't want that to happen. You know, at the same time. But if we go back into a quarterback competition once again, then you're dividing up reps and all these different things
Yeah.
again, as opposed
Yeah.
to really developing one of them, you know, in the off season. Once again, like everything is torn up, you know, so they're still being at a disadvantage because half is going over here, half is going over there. And then Deshaun Watson, what are you doing with him? And if you bring in somebody else, what are you doing with them? You know, it's all over the place. I really wish that they would. My hope, you know, is that they've seen footage of both of them. Who do you think, with the new coach in mind, obviously, and Andrew Barry and whoever, you know, Jimmy, if he's a part of the decision, who do you think? Who do you feel is best for the franchise moving forward. You know what I mean? And go from there. Spend the whole off season really developing that quarterback. Getting the
Right.
pieces in there in the draft because you got 10 picks, 2 in the first round. So there's a lot that you can do in this offseason, and then new head coach really start winning some games. I'm not saying you'll go to playoffs and win a Super Bowl next season, but you should win more than like 4 games,
Yeah.
if everything is done right. But I really feel like if they go back into the whole QB competition, then you once again you're going backwards. So if you can avoid that, just make a decision.
Right.
Make a
I don't know
decision.
if they know what they're doing because the 2 candidates I've heard so far, um, from Andrew Berry, that
Mhm.
they're gonna look at is Jim Schwartz, who is
Mhm.
already the defensive coordinator in Cleveland, who's been a head
Mhm.
coach before, but they're gonna give him an interview, and Tommy Reese, who's the offensive coordinator. So, I mean, I'm like, dude, what? You need to go outside. You need to bring somebody in. I mean,
I agree.
I like those guys,
Yeah.
but they already inside the
Yeah. They're
building.
already, they're already tainted.
Right,
Like, no, no,
right.
no.
Like, no, go get, because a lot of the players, especially a lot of the defensive players, they went and vouched for Jim Schwartz. They were like, Jim Schwartz should be a good candidate to have. But I'm
Mhm.
like, you need to go to the outside and bring somebody else from a winning situation
Mhm.
who can teach winning. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You don't need to be, and I like Jim Schwartz. Jim Schwartz is a hell of a defensive coordinator. I mean,
I
I
think both Dylan and Shador could use somebody who's a strong offensive mind.
right, right. But
Because the
that's the
defense is
thing.
already good, and it's very
Yeah,
good already in Cleveland. Like the defense side is not an issue. You know what I mean? Health is something different, and penalties, Jesus Christ, But
yeah,
outside of that, like the defense with Miles Garrett, you set more so on that side. It's the O line, everything that really
right.
needs the most help. So I know sometimes when you get a defensive minded
Yeah.
coach in there, like they be struggling with the
Well,
offense.
yeah,
Like we see Dan Campbell, he tried, to
yeah,
balance both,
yeah. I'm
but
surprised by
but
that move.
but it
Yeah, but
wasn't but it wasn't working.
the issue
That's what
is
we
when you're
wanted to
trying to
work.
get a head coach in Cleveland.
Hmm.
I mean, really, a lot of guys don't want to come to Cleveland to be a head coach. They know they look at the track record. They know what y'all have done over the last 20 years with head coaches. They know who been in
Yeah.
the last 25 years. So you got to get somebody who probably is a first time head coach who wants to prove himself in the league, and he has to come in and be your head coach. So now you're looking at a guy like a Joe Brady. You looking at a guy. I mean, maybe Clint Kubiak, but Clint Kubiak is going to get looks at better jobs. I don't know if Cleveland. Now, don't get me wrong, Cleveland defense is ready to go.
They
So
are.
if I could just turn that offense around a little bit, but whoever is the head coach got to come in and they got to deal with a quarterback scramble. Like, who is my
And that's
quarterback?
what
What
I'm
am I gonna
saying. Yeah.
do? Now
I think
you
that
would
needs to
hope,
be figured out before the off season, honestly
right?
speaking.
You would hope it's now for me. My bias in it would. I would hope it's a guy who does like Shador,
Hmm.
because even though, and I told you this a while ago, man, I really hope Shador can get out of Cleveland.
Hmm.
But the truth of the matter is, Cleveland might be the best place for Shador because I can't see anywhere else he can go and get an opportunity to start. So Cleveland is the place where if he's gonna get an opportunity to start, it's gonna have to be in Cleveland. But I mean, and I'm talking about for the near future. Now maybe he can go somewhere else and they can say, okay, we got a guy that we can develop almost how Harbaugh did Trey Lance down in with the LA Chargers. You can bring him in and be a backup to your guy who's already a starter, and you can just keep working with him for a few years, and maybe in 3-4 years, all right, you Shador is like in a joint love situation. But if he's gonna play sooner than later, I think Cleveland is the destination for him. But it's just a bad place for head coaches and quarterbacks.
Um, if you're gonna go with a defensive minded coach, right? I wouldn't mind that.
Right.
But then the OC you bring in needs somebody who knows what they're doing with offense. You know what I mean? So I'm thinking, I don't like I said, Miami. I don't know what they're gonna do,
Yeah,
with
yeah.
Mike out there. But he's good with offense. He's creative.
He is.
Like if he did happen to get fired, I'm not rooting for him to get fired. But if he did, he's someone that I would consider bringing in as an OC, assuming that he would want to take that step down. I would
Right.
like if I could get him in Cleveland, if I got a defensive coach, I would try to get him, assuming that he loses his job.
It's
If
getting
not,
cold in Cleveland now.
huh?
It gets cold
Oh
in
yeah, right.
Cleveland.
You're right. He might be like, hold on, let me try. But or if not, honestly speaking, I'm going back to Mike McCarthy.
Mike
Um,
McCarthy would be an excellent
I think he'd be
decision.
really good for Shador.
Another one, Nasir put down in the chat. I see. Yes, Cliff Kingsbury might be up for a head coaching job. He's an excellent offensive mind.
Was he
No,
not the head coach before? Am I tripping?
he was the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah, and then
He
he
had
lost his job,
he
and then he went there. Yeah.
he had
Okay.
Kyler Murray, and if you got Kyler Murray is a coach killer because you can't win with him. You can't win with any quarterback where you have to put a clause in his contract that he has to watch X amount of hours of film. You can't win with a guy like that.
Oh, I forgot Anthony Richardson is still out there too. You know what I mean? So I don't know what's going on with him. I mean, not in Indiana. I'm just saying, like, if someone,
right.
is like, I want to give him a second chance, and see
Again,
what he can do. I think he should be
right,
a part of a QB competition somewhere, given how everything
right,
happened with him.
right,
Like, you got to prove
right.
yourself now because you kind of
That's where
botched
I
the
was going
opportunity.
with that.
You
I'm
know?
not bringing Anthony Richardson in and
Yeah.
giving him the keys, but I
No, not
will
giving
bring
nothing.
him
You got to
in.
earn that. Yeah.
Right, I will bring him in and say, "This is the guy. Y'all, this is my quarterback room. Go out there and win a job." And then if
Mm-hmm.
if he's the cream that rises to the top, then you say, "Okay, he's bounced back." And because he's still young and he's
Very.
really gifted athletically. I mean,
He is.
size, arm strength, speed. He has all the tangibles that you like in a football player and a quarterback. It's the stuff in between his head and in between the shoulders.
Yeah.
If he some of those things, then Anthony Richardson could be a great quarterback.
Yeah. I mean, some people are just better at being an OC or a DC. Everybody can't be a head coach. Like that's when you're a head coach. There's so much that's going on when you're in charge of everything. Everybody's looking at you, all these different things. OC, I think, honestly speaking, and it could be because he had Kyler, but I think I like him as a OC in Washington. If I'm Cliff, I don't know if I want to go back that route again. I might want to stick around
Well,
with Jaden for
right.
another season or two and see how this ship continues to sail.
That's the
If I'm
thing
him.
about it. That's the thing about it. A coach like Cliff Kingsbury, since he has had a head coaching job and he's been around, he
Mm-hmm.
understands that I need to go somewhere where I have a quarterback that can work well in my system. If that opportunity doesn't arise, then he'll just stay where he is. And I got Jane Daniels right here. As long as I'm playing
Yeah.
with Jane Daniels, I'm gonna continuously to increase my stock for when I am ready to take one of these jobs. But if now, don't get me wrong, for a guy like Cliff Kingsbury, Tennessee might be a good opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
They got a high pick in the draft. I already got Cam Ward there. Cam Ward showed me improvement over the season. If I can put Cam Ward in my system, um, he's not too far off in my opinion, he's not too far off from what Jane Daniels is. It's just Jane Daniels
Mm-hmm.
got a better team around him. If I can put pieces around Cam Ward and put my offense in Tennessee, I might got me some. So I think Tennessee is another job where
Mm-hmm.
you got the number one pick in the draft right there at quarterback. That's
Hold
another job for a good offensive minded head coach.
on, big dog. I see your comment in here. Hold on, I'm gonna have to get to you real quick. Nasir said, "Nada, you cost me the Miami game, so leave my young blood alone. Kyler is great. Look, you listen to Nadi. I told you to go Miami. Now I
Yeah,
tried to
Miami
tell you,
surprised me.
Nasir. I tried to put you on now, right? So
I give Miami
listen
surprised
to you.
me. I was shocked
I
because
wasn't.
I
I was like,
saw Carson Beck play in
they're gonna
Georgia, and
bully
I know who Carson Beck was in Georgia. I didn't expect him to, and he had some fluke games earlier this season at Miami. So I just thought Carson Beck was who I thought he was, but he played a lot better than I expected. So kudos to Miami for advancing to the semifinals of the playoffs, one win away from the championship. and we'll see how they do. But I just didn't expect Miami to play that well, and they did. So I was wrong.
Now getting to you, Big Dog. Big Dog said, "I'm not bringing Andy Richardson at all. I'd rather draft the QB in the 5th round." Now, look, Anthony. He's young, and I think looking at him about 2 weeks ago now when he was, I didn't recognize him. I was like, oh, okay, like he lost some weight, he's leaned out, you know what I mean? Maybe he's been in the gym, like really working, putting in the work. Physically wasn't the issue; it was most of the mental thing, if you ask me, maturity
Hmm.
and and things of that nature. So maybe, like I said, having battled so many injuries, having lost his job, to Daniel Jones, and then when they went to go get grandpa, they didn't give you a call. Hopefully
Right.
that set something off. Like, let me get this together. If it didn't set anything off, you know what I mean. I know what to say at this point, but I would at least bring him in for a competition to see what's there. You know what I mean. Also, can he stay healthy too? Because he get hurt. He get
Yeah.
hurt. He get hurt in practice. He get hurt
I mean, he
in
get
off
hurt
season. He get hurt in the
pre-game.
game.
He just warming
Like
up. Some hit him
he
in
get
the
hurt
eye.
stretching. Yeah, he get hurt
Right.
stretching. It's like, wait, what happened? Like, what did you
Slept
do to
rock.
practice?
He
Yeah,
slept rock. Right.
but I'm rooting for the young man. I want to see him be
Yeah.
successful, whether that
Well,
be starting QB or backup. You
yeah.
know,
The NFL got a way of
um,
humbling you. You come in, you thinking you the miss. I'm it. I'm him. No, the NFL like, no, you not him. Like we got 3, 4 other. We'll put Riley Leonard in there. Like it don't really matter, bro. We don't need
yeah,
you.
they put
You
everybody in
know,
before they went back to him.
right.
So I'm like,
So
they're like, we're not going back to you.
I'm glad.
Yeah,
I hope it was a humbling situation. Like I said, he got all the
I hope
physical
so. I really
tools
do.
in the world, and hopefully he works his ass off and he puts himself in a position to get another opportunity. And then once he get that opportunity, you have to ball. And so I wish him all the best.
Hold on, Anthony Richardson is in the QB starter competition. Just draft the QB in the 5th round. Will be way cheaper, and at worst, the rookie will be just as bad as Richardson. Um, Interesting.
Well, they both
Um,
gonna be cheap.
but like I said, he's already here. You know what I mean? So I would definitely see where he's at now. I would. And at worst, maybe he's just a backup QB. You never know. Everybody's not meant to be a starter. Everybody can't handle that. Everybody's not built for it. You know what I mean? Be the franchise guy. But I would give him. He's so young. You know what I mean? And he's so naturally talented. In terms of physique and everything, athleticism. I would see what was there. And if it's not, then it's not. Nasir said at least Anthony Richardson wears a suit and speaks like a CEO during the conferences I've seen of him. Nasir, you drive me crazy sometimes because
Yeah.
on one hand, you put a lot of time into how people dress. You know what I mean? But what about the other stuff? What about him? Not focusing. And really honing in on being the franchise guy, making music videos and stuff like that in his off time. Like you crucify Shador for spending time with his family while he was still working out. But you got Anthony Richardson, who I'm a fan of, by the way, making music videos, and you're like, well, at least he wears a suit. I'm like, which
Yeah.
one? Which
Well,
one is it?
I never seen Tom Brady wear a suit. I mean, I see him wear a suit now doing this job on TV, but when he was playing,
Right?
I didn't really never see Tom Brady wear a suit. I mean, but he Tom Brady. I mean, at the end of the day, can you ball or can you not ball? If you can ball, you can wear whatever the hell you want to wear. And if you can't ball, then you can try to mask it up with a suit. Like I don't know.
I mean, some people like Dak Prescott to me, I think has like the best like interviews. He always looks like so dapper and so like
Oh, he's
clean. The suits where he dresses is always so nice. He's always so articulate. He speaks well.
yes,
Like you just like Dak as a person. You're
he's the
like,
best.
I want him to win, like just as a person. And then
I,
the playoffs come, you're like, Dak,
right.
what happened?
Yeah,
But
I, I don't want him to win, but not because I don't like Dak, because I actually do like Dak. I
I
actually
like I
like.
like the
I
coach.
think Dak plays the game. I think I'm talking about the game within the game. I
Yeah.
think Dak plays it the
Kirk does
best.
too.
Right. I think Dak play. He says all the right things. He dresses right. He
He
smiles,
does,
and all the while he know I'm finna take this guy to the bank.
right?
And I
His
like
agent
that.
and Captain Kirk. I'm like, do a
Right,
class, please. Let me sit inside
right.
that class, that business class, and see how y'all doing things. And I think Captain Kirk is very likable too. He's a likable, nice guy. Like you like them as people.
Right.
But and then they get to the, the the field, and sometimes it's like, But
Yeah.
honestly
Well,
speaking, going
Captain
back.
Kirk won his last 4 games. I think he's gonna be the starting quarterback next year. We'll see how that goes.
They were saying that's one of the reasons why Raheem also lost his job. Just going back real quick, because they didn't even have a competition this offseason. They kind of just put Michael Penix in there, and now after the whole season has passed, it's always hindsight of 2020. They're like, if they would have, put Captain Kirk, back in his position, given everything that happened with Michael Penix, they would have won more games, and he could have perhaps kept his job. It's always so funny when people go back in hindsight, like, well, they should have did this, should have did that. Real quickly, I want to ask you before we move on. I don't have the clip, but what did you think? Because it was the people were kind of trying to on opposite sides of it about Nick Sirianni sitting, his starters, with the exception of Smitty, because he wanted to hit that 1,000 yards, but outside of
Right.
him, pretty much he said everybody else, and they were like, you shouldn't have did that, because the seeding, you could have had the 2 seed and then had home field advantage, get the Chicago Bears, it was obviously a lot of things that go into
Yeah.
seeding. I don't mind a decision though, but what do you think?
I didn't mind the decision either. I mean, he knows his locker room. He knows whether the guys need rest. What whether some of those guys had little nicks and necks there. They weren't 100%.
Hmm.
If I can rest those guys for a week, we either gonna be the 2 or the 3 seed. Either way, it's not really a big difference between the 2 and the 3 seed. Um, I had no problem with it, and hell, they both end up losing. I think Chicago end up losing. They end up losing. Like it don't really matter. It don't really matter. I think the Buffalo game. This is a concern for me. After watching
Hmm.
the Buffalo game, I didn't feel good about it. About the Buffalo game, I do feel like the Philadelphia Eagles are backing into the playoffs, as
Hmm.
opposed to having momentum going into the playoffs. That worries me. That concerns me. I should say.
Hmm.
Um, I'm not as confident that they'll, even though I think they have the 49ers in Philly.
Hmm.
I'm not as
We'll get to
confident.
the matchup a little bit later though, but go
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah, but
What
I'm saying because of how they're backing into the playoffs.
you?
I'm not as confident about them running the table as I would have been had I seen them get that offense and some sort of momentum.
Hmm.
To me, they have no offensive momentum, and they never were able to turn it on this year. So the defense playing lights out. Again, I would have liked to see the starters play like a half to try to see if I
Hmm.
can build some sort of momentum. But since he didn't play the starters, then I mean, I don't have a real big issue with it. But it would have been nice to see them try to have some sort of momentum going into the playoffs. But when you want injury away, I mean, with the way Jalen Hurts has played this year, I think he needs all hands on deck. So I really understand. I can't risk having AJ Brown get hurt. I can't risk having Saquon get hurt. I
Hmm.
can't really risk any of these guys getting hurt on the last game of the season that really doesn't mean much.
I agree. I said that even like with the Bills, I'm like, why are we playing starters? You know what I mean? Like they got injuries. Josh his foot is bothering him. I mean, he played a little bit, then came out obviously. I didn't mind the decision. I'm always on the side of health. Around this time of the year, everybody's banged
Right.
up to a certain degree, and I need my starters to be as healthy as possible. Like I'd rather
Yeah.
have them as healthy as possible and be a 3 seed or a 4 seed if we need to, than to have a higher seed and then they're all banged up and limping in that first playoff game. Because then what is it all for? If we can't get past the
Yeah.
first round, like
I
then
mean,
what are
that's
you doing?
right. I mean, I see it. I understand that philosophy too. But Jacksonville, for example, they played Trevor Lawrence 3 quarters, and they put up big numbers this weekend. Jacksonville is going to the playoffs with momentum. They're not backing into the playoffs. They're going into the playoffs playing their best ball. and as opposed to, and I know we're gonna get to it, a team like Buffalo, who's going into, they're backing into the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that's in my history of watching football, that has never been a good trend. You always want to have a team that's playing their best ball going into the playoffs. So even the Houston Texans, they played CJ Stroud for a whole half. They played the offense for a whole half before they gave it over to Davis Mills. But they wanted this.
So you saw what
Still
Chicago
maybe
was doing, I think, right?
right.
No,
You know,
it was out.
Chicago was, I'm trying to have some sort of momentum going into the playoffs because I don't want to bag into the playoffs. So, and plus, I mean, Caleb Williams, I think that situation was about him trying to break some sort of record for Chicago. He had the chance to have the most passing yards in Chicago Bears history. Chicago Bears, in the history of their franchise, have never had a 4,000-yard passer. I still
Yeah, I
don't
heard.
think I still don't think Caleb got the 4,000, but he might
Yeah, he got
have
close, I think, right?
right. So he might have still eclipsed the all-time Chicago Bears passing yards leader. So he was playing more so to break some records. I think Chicago they already had some good momentum, even with the loss to the 49ers just a couple weeks ago. They played really well. You know, the defense played well. Caleb Williams played pretty well. And so I don't expect much out of them anyway, but I don't think Chicago Bears are a team that's backing into the playoffs like a couple other
Um,
teams I see out there.
I'm gonna read these comments, y'all. We're gonna get into these matchups real quick. It's gonna be a wild, wild weekend. The Seer said agreed. Dak represents. Um, I love centering the Cowboys, but I have no center for Dakota Prescott this season. How nice are you, big dog? It's only a problem if they lose to the 49ers.
Yeah.
I mean, if they lose, I don't think it'll be because they rested this week. It'll be because the offense that's been an issue throughout the whole season, pretty much. I don't think it'll be that though. Like, oh, they didn't rest their start. They rested their starters, so that's why they lost. Because I mean, last season, even when Saquon had a chance to break that record, they still aired this out of caution and was like, no, we need you healthy,
Right.
for the playoffs. So have a seat, So he's been consistent with that, Like it's not
Yeah,
like they just
they
did
had
it this year.
momentum last year. They had
Yeah.
momentum going into the playoffs last year. They weren't backing in.
But even then, though, like he was like, although like everybody was like, yeah, go ahead, Saquon, hit that record. It was like,
Oh yeah. No,
no,
it's not important.
we don't want to risk anything. Have a seat, respectfully. Like have a seat. Big Dog said if Fred Warner playing, we winning. Is he playing? I thought he was out for the whole season. He back?
I don't think he's playing.
Yeah, I don't think he was playing. If he is, I'm like, then good for y'all, right? Bang bang.
Yeah.
Jalen will be ready. Nasir said he needs time to recalibrate. He's a Texas kid and heard all the BS thrown his way. He's ready to show out. I hope
I
you're
hope
right.
so. Yeah, I hope so too.
I hope you're right. It would be it would be great, aside from my Bills, that is, if they could, get past all naysayers and still get back to Super Bowl again. You know what I mean? After everything that happened this season, all the ups and downs and the AJ Brown tweets and all the craziness. We gonna see. We're gonna move ahead, y'all, because it's that time. It's that time. Let's break it down. I want to know who y'all got, who y'all rooting for. All right. All right, y'all. Here we go. Can everybody see it? Can y'all see it? Can you see it?
I can see it. It's small, but my screen is small. If my
Yeah,
screen was full screen on the whole thing, then I would be able to see it very clearly. So the people at home should be able to see it. Matter of fact,
all right, you guys. So obviously we know that Broncos and the Seahawks they got the bye, so they're not
yeah,
playing
you can
all
see
this
it
week.
clear.
Huh?
Oh no, I was looking. I have it on my phone. Yeah, you can see it real clear.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So no Broncos, no Seahawks. No, they're not there. They're gonna be at home watching or
Chilling.
getting some deep tissue massages or something, getting ready, heating pack or something. Get themselves ready for the game. We're gonna start with we're gonna go on this side first. We're gonna start in NFC.
One of the getting over
Panthers.
massages.
Panthers. Oh gosh, not those kind of massages. He's a married man now. He's changed, I think. Allegedly, again, allegedly.
What they got to do with massages?
Make sure we know what kind of massage they was talking about though. So I'm gonna say
Right.
allegedly here, y'all, because I don't want to be sued for not now nothing. It's starting the NFC, Panthers versus Rams. Now we know that the Panthers they did beat the Rams. You know they did during the regular season, but in the playoffs it's a whole different juggernaut. So what are your predictions for this game, Panthers
You know
versus
what?
Rams?
I wonder if, because I haven't heard, I got to look into it. I wonder if Devontae Adams is going to be healthy enough to play. You know,
I
with that
think he will be back
hamstring.
out there. Let me
Okay,
see.
now, because that
Are you
hamstring
looking it
injury
up?
he had, was pretty serious. I think it'll be something. It might not even be something that we can look at right now. It might be something that we'll hear about more on Wednesday or Thursday. How he's coming along with that. If he's practicing, if he's a full go at practice or not. But that's gonna be
Right now they're
uh
saying he's expected back.
okay. So if now one thing to be expected back. Are you gonna be Devontae Adams when you come back? Because the Carolina Panthers, they play defense. JC Horn on them guys out there. They gonna play some good
Hmm.
defense. That's one thing about them. The thing that concerns me and why I would be picking the Rams to win this
Hmm.
game.
Okay, you got the Rams. Okay.
Yeah, I got the Rams. I'm picking the Rams
Hmm.
not only because I believe the Rams are a better team, but because
They are a
once
better
again,
team. I agree with that.
it's hard for me to pick a team that's backing into the playoffs. Carolina Panthers and lost 2 straight. They need the Falcons to win in order for them to make the playoffs because they dropped the ball against the Saints and then they dropped the
Hmm.
ball against Tampa Bay. And so with you losing those 2 games in a row, you on a 2-game losing streak coming into the playoffs
Hmm.
and you're under 500. And I just don't know where your morale is right now. Do you really believe that you can, even though it's going to be at home, they got a home game. They're going to be playing in Carolina. Do you really believe that you can beat the Rams, even at home in the first round of the playoffs? After you done lost the last 2 games, you have no momentum going in your favor. I just don't believe it. You know, I don't get me wrong. I'm pulling for Bryce Young, you know, but I just don't. I just don't believe the Carolina Panthers are gonna pull this upset.
Um, for me, it depends on what Bryce are we getting. Bryce has come a long way this season, honestly speaking, based on how he came in, and then how he looked, and then he got benched, and then he came back, and he's gotten so much better. He's played with a lot more confidence, than he has, in the past. I'm gonna give the Rams the edge just because obviously, you're already playing. Experience makes a big difference, even aside from the momentum part. But I'm not worried about them wondering if they can beat the Rams because you did it already. So
Right,
like we can do it. If we pull together, you know what I mean, and really hone in, focus, and take care of the ball, and everybody does their job, we got a chance to be in this thing, in the game, with a chance to win. But it's really hard to beat a team 2 times, especially when you go to playoffs. Experience is a real thing, and I think the experience on that side is in terms of the Rams, Matthew Stafford, Bryce Young. I think that will give them the edge. So I'm gonna go Rams. I'm not betting on it though, but I'm
right.
gonna go Rams.
I would bet on that. I would bet on that one.
I,
Depends on
I
how many
never like
points.
to do
Depends on
money
how many.
line bets.
Yeah, it depends on how
I
many
hate money
points they're
line
going
bets.
to. Because I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure they're going to be getting the Panthers points at home.
I'll do touchdowns. I'll do like rushing yards or something, but I don't do money line bets ever because you bet money line and then next thing you know you're like, oh come on, this one gets
Right,
hurt and he's carted off. You're like, are we? That always happens to me. I'm like, are you serious? I need 2 more points. He got a high ankle sprain right now. I'm like,
right,
go get those free
exactly.
throws. Go get those free throws for me, and then go back to the locker room. I'd be so tight, man. Oh, I hate when that happens.
Pause.
Moving on, we're gonna bounce to the opposite side. We kind of spoke on this a little bit, but going to the what's the opposite side of things. Steelers versus the Texans. You said you got Texans, right? And I'm going Steelers.
Yeah, I got the Texans. I mean, I'm gonna be pulling for the Steelers, but
Mm-hmm.
you know,
He riding
I'm
the
picking.
fence. He
I'm no. I ride with Mike Tomlin. I ride with
I
Mike
know.
Tomlin all day.
You know.
I just don't believe that the offense is better than the Houston Texans defense. Now I'm not writing the Steelers off like I did against the Ravens. I'm not writing them off
Hmm.
because of the simple fact that I do believe the Steelers defense can have caused CJ Stroud to turn the ball over. And if CJ
Hmm.
Stroud turns the ball over, then that we're having a whole different conversation. But if CJ Stroud can be careful with the football and not put it in harm's way, I just don't see how the Houston Texans defense don't stifle Aaron Rodgers the whole game because he's not going anywhere. And he's definitely not getting away from Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson.
I think AR gets that ball out so fast. Pause. You know what I mean? Like you got to get to him. Like you know what I mean? Like he's so quick and decisive. He's been doing it for so freaking long. It makes perfect sense. You know, but he
Right.
knows what he's gonna do. You know, so you got to get to him like almost like what half a second maybe because he gets the ball out so quick to make sure you're not like knocking him on his ass. He doesn't want to get hurt out there. Um, but if you can apply that pressure to him, then obviously you got a chance. But because he's so experienced and obviously he's been watching film, like he's going to obviously go back and do his due diligence. He's going to have that team there probably throughout this week watching some more film on the Texans, you know,
Right.
and gearing up for this game as he rightfully should, you know. So I'm because of his experience and because he gets the ball so quick, and then obviously DK is back. Like the Steelers, they got some big bodies on that O line. You know, it's not going to be so easy
Yeah.
to just take down DK. You know, you're gonna have to get to AR quick. You know, once he gets that ball out, good luck. You gonna need more than one person taking down DK. Like it's
Well, that's the one.
one on one.
Right.
Forget it. He gonna drag you into that end zone.
That's the one
Like,
thing the Steelers do have in their favor. They have a quarterback
mhm,
who understands he's at the end of the line.
mhm,
And he wants to go out on top if he possibly can. He saw Tom Brady go out on top. I mean, Tom
mhm.
Brady, I mean, he didn't go out all the way on top. His last season, he just made the playoffs and they lost in the first round. But the season before that, Tom Brady won a Super Bowl at the age of 40 years old. And I think Aaron Rodgers, his career has always kind of been aligned with Tom Brady,
Yeah.
who's the better quarterback all time between Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady. Aaron
Mhm.
Rodgers is a better thrower of the football. He's a better athlete. I mean, by all metrics, he's better than Tom Brady, but Tom Brady has the championships. So I think for Aaron Rodgers, I really believe he wants to go out on top. And so he's gonna do
As
all
he
the
should.
he's right, he's gonna do all the studying. He's gonna have his teammates ready. I mean, they're gonna be
He gonna be
ready. The
he gonna be
Pittsburgh
cursing them
Steelers are
out
not
too.
gonna lay down.
He was cursing them out yesterday. I was
Right,
like, everything is tight. He had the spit flying out the helmet. I was
right.
like, y'all better get in line. It's gonna get crazy out there in a second, man. But I feel like honestly speaking, I know you said Arthur Smith play calling was great. For me, I think it was more AR than anything. You know, like in
Well,
that huddle, like I felt like he was the one that was directing. We doing this, that, and the third. I don't think at a certain point, I don't
you
think
might be right.
Arthur Smith had any say. He was like, "We doing
I,
this over here."
when
Right?
when when
Like,
when I say Arthur Smith called his greatest game ever, you got to understand. I don't think Arthur Smith is a great play caller.
hmm
So it's not much that I say he called. I didn't. I say he called his best game ever.
hmm
Like his best game ever is a average game to another great offensive coordinator. But
hmm
for Arthur Smith, I believe Arthur Smith called his best game ever because I don't believe in Arthur Smith as a coordinator. And you might be right. Aaron Rodgers probably was getting those plays and saying, "This is what we're gonna do." I know the play he called, but this is what we're gonna do. And then he'll run something totally different from what Arthur Smith was playing. I have no doubt he did that, in the world. But I just thought the game plan to utilize those backs, to utilize Jalen Warren, and to
hmm
utilize Kenneth Gainwell, knowing that these are your best weapons that you were gonna have all night, and then after you have sucked the defense in, pause to want to
I was
focus
like,
on
"Pause."
right to focus on the backs, and now you start to hit fire move down the middle for 20, 30 yards. Now you start to hit a busted play, and you got Calvin Austin open. You start seeing Thielen running those outs. He was hitting Thielen
Mhm.
with the out routes. Okay, it kind of opened everything up for the rest of the offense. And so I just think the strategy, the going into the game was a pretty good strategy. considering their defense was playing lights out for most of the game.
I think one of the things that might have been a blessing in disguise was that you got a chance to see other players step up, without having DK there and obviously focusing so much on him, being like your number one weapon. You got to see, what other people were capable of when you had to, and they stepped up to it. You know what I mean? So now, you can trust them again. Use DK sometimes, if you can, as a decoy, because they're gonna make sure they try to cover him. You know what I mean? They're not going to leave him out.
Right.
So you utilize everything. It's going to take a complete team effort on that offense, on that O line. Everybody got to do their job with that Texans defense. Like we cannot leave anybody wide open like Zay was. You know what I mean? Pause. Not a Steeler in sight. For those touchdowns, because that was crazy. So far, y'all in the chat, who y'all got? Y'all haven't given y'all predictions yet. Drop it in the chat. Y'all taking Panthers or Rams? Y'all taking Steelers or Texans? So we both agree on the Rams, and you're saying Texans, and I'm saying Steelers for this one. And the next one, we going in, you guys. Jaguars versus the Bills. Okay, Bills Mafia stand up. I'm rocking with Josh, and that's that. But how you feel? I don't care if we backing in, we hopping in, we rolling in. I'm rolling in with Josh. I'm hopping in with Josh, and I'm hopping out, no matter what it is.
Right. It's difficult to pick against Josh Allen, but I'm gonna pick against Josh Allen this week.
It's really difficult, but
even though my expectations are high of him, he needs to win. This year, you need to go to the Super Bowl. I'm sorry, you're the best quarterback on this side of the AFC. You're the best quarterback in the field.
But does he have the best team? I don't think he does.
Well,
if I'm being honest.
That's the thing about this. Is why I'm picking Jacksonville at home.
Yeah.
And I most of the time I don't pick Jacksonville, but Jacksonville is going into the playoffs with momentum. Trevor Lawrence is playing the best football he's played in his career. The defense is playing outstanding. And when I look at the other side with Buffalo, the defense has holes in it. They're backing into the playoffs. They're not playing their best football going into the playoffs. And even though Josh Allen, he's has Superman capabilities, I don't know. Well, he's not 100%. And
that foot been bothering him for a few weeks now.
Right. And one thing about Jacksonville, they're gonna test you. They're gonna make you show everything that you got. And I believe Jacksonville got what it takes to beat Buffalo. I mean, if you can't beat Buffalo in the state that they're in right now, then you're not gonna beat them. So I think this is definitely a good test for Josh Allen too, because you can go into Jacksonville and beat Jacksonville, then you're gonna put the whole league on notice that we're coming and we're ready and this is our year. So this is a huge game. I think this is the game for me. This is the game of the week. Even though I ride with the Eagles and I want to see the Eagles and the 49ers, to me, the game of the week is Buffalo and Jacksonville. I think this could have huge implications on who ends up in San Francisco for the Super Bowl.
I'm not buying into the hype just yet from Jacksonville. I'm glad that Trevor Lawrence is feeling great. He's playing great. He's playing with confidence and everything. But for me, I never count out experience. Having been there, having had to step up in the biggest moments, having had to put your cape on, knowing when to take the cape off, that experience to me always goes a long way. And aside from the defense, because the defense, one thing is the defense has been inconsistent, but we saw them. The Bills are not gonna roll over. I mean, we saw them down 21-0 to Patriots, and then they bounced back and won that game. We saw even to start the season. You know what I mean? The Ravens were just running all up and through. Buffalo pause, and then they fought their way back in that as well. So we see when they know that they're playing against. To me, I feel like they play down to their competition sometimes too. Like when they play against teams that they know are really, really good teams, they come in, more alert and and ready. Like when they played against the Chiefs, the Chiefs weren't that good this year. You know what I mean? They came in like ready. So if you can bounce back from being down 21-0 against the Patriots. You can still, defeat Patrick Mahomes. He always does anyway in the regular season. You can still hold your own against some of these other teams that have better complete teams. The Bills knocking wall over, you know what I mean? And because if I got to put my money on um, Trevor or Josh, I'm gonna go Josh all day.
Well, yeah, if you
Because
put your money
because
on the
they're battle
quarterback,
tested. Because
yeah,
they're
you
battle
put your
tested.
money just on the quarterback, then yeah. But when I'm looking at the team, and Jacksonville seems to have a better team than Buffalo does. Yeah, I think Buffalo definitely has the better quarterback, and they have a quarterback that can mask a lot of mistakes of the team, and he can fill in and do a lot of things that
Hmm.
can erase a lot of the errors that they have. But I think Jacksonville has the better team. But I definitely think Buffalo. Like I said, I think Buffalo has the best quarterback in the matter of fact, they might have the best quarterback in all of the playoffs, AFC or NFC. That's why this year it's just a lot. I don't know if the pressure is gotten to Josh Allen. We're gonna see, but the expectations is, and media is gonna ride him. You have to win it this year. All the big dogs are out. You are the big dog. Let's see you. Let's
Well,
see
the
what you
only
do.
big dog he had an issue with was Patrick Mahomes. You know what I mean? It wasn't like he had an issue, with every big dog,
Right.
so to speak. But coaching also goes into it. Like there was some costly decisions last year that I did not get at all in that game against the Chiefs. I'm like, stop going for the half-ass tush push. It's not working. Call a different play. And they were just Sean Durham was adamant about doing it like 3 times, even though they kept getting a
Right.
chance to do it over. I'm like, dude, you got to get this now because you're gonna get the Chiefs the ball back. And there's only but so much time on that clock. So some things I don't understand, but it is what it is. I'm rocking my Bills all the way. So either I'll be extremely happy when the game is over, or I'll send you crying emojis and don't text me for a few hours until I, can breathe again after I'm done crying. But either way, you'll know how I feel. And
Right.
I'm gonna be on live for that game, y'all. Bump that. I'm rocking with my QB. All right, period. So I'll see y'all. Okay, going to the other side of things. Big Dog, I know Big Dog, you still here? We going bang bang Niner gang, or we flying with the Eagles? We flying high with the Eagles. Who you got? I know who you
Oh,
want to win, but who you got?
I got Philly all day. I got Philly all day. I just believe Philly defense is so good.
Hmm.
I think they can stifle Brock Purdy. I think they can get Brock Purdy to turn the ball over a couple of times.
Hmm.
And considering, I do consider all the injuries that the 49ers have on defense.
A lot of injuries, yeah. I think it's gonna
And
catch up with them.
if Jalen Hurts can't expose this defense, then Philadelphia really has to consider taking a quarterback in the draft and
Oh,
create some
now we
sort
now
of.
we getting just now we getting crazy.
No. I'm
Now
saying
we
you.
getting crazy.
I believe competition is good for everybody. It worked for Carson Wentz. They Carson Wentz was a high draft pick in the first round. A couple years after that, they took Jalen Hurts in the second round, and they put competition there with Carson Wentz, and Jalen Hurts ended up winning that job. And hindsight 2020, they did the right thing. So sometimes guys get complacent because they done won the Super Bowl or they've had some
Hmm.
sort of success and they stopped putting the work in. You went out and got married to a beautiful woman. I congratulate you for
She's
that.
very pretty. Yeah, I
Yeah,
agree.
yeah. I congratulate him for that and all that. But at the end of the day, it's about winning football games. And your play has been mediocre at best. And if you go out there and you can't, I mean, you give me 14 yards and you don't complete a pole pass in the second half of a playoff game, then yes, we don't have to look at getting another quarterback in the draft and opening up a competition and putting you on notice because we just can't have that. No complacency. One thing about Harry Roseman, he doesn't get complacent. You can win a Super
Hmm.
Bowl this year, he'll let you go to next year because he knows it's about restocking. So I really think Jalen Hurts with this 49er defense, with all the injuries they have on defense, you got to be able to expose them. And I believe he will. And I believe the Philly defense will expose the 49ers offense. It'll attack their weaknesses. And I believe Philadelphia will win this game at home, and it'll probably be cold in Philly.
I think at this point, I think like you said, they need all hands on deck. I think against this the Phillies defense. For that reason alone, I'm gonna have to go with Philly to win this game. Now, I will say the offense has been, lackluster.
Putrid.
You know what I mean? It's
Right.
the putrid as you just said. But one thing I will say about Jalen Hurts, when he needs to, he puts on. He shows up. He don't shy away from the big moments, and he'll do what he needs to do. To make sure that they win the game. So, I do have them beating the Niners. I think the missing Bosa. I don't know what happened to Brandon Ayuk. I don't know what happened to him.
Yeah, he's
Um,
done.
Somebody, I forgot who it was. They were on Speak Easy, so they hadn't seen or heard from him in 2 months. I was like, oh my god, it's a teammate. I forgot his name. I was like, wow, okay. But I think they're going to feel not having pause Bosa or Fred Warner in this game, and I think this will be the game that catches up with them. But with Kyle Shanahan, I hate to you don't want to count him out, because
You
that
can't.
mind is always going now,
You can't
and
count him out.
Brock Purdy is he's slick now,
Oh yeah. You know what I mean?
he's slick,
Right.
he get in there, that
Yeah, I
him,
like Brock
him is
Purdy.
good, yeah, so I don't know.
One thing I
Um,
can say about Jalen. Oh, go ahead.
no, go ahead. What you gonna say? I
One thing
was
I
looking
can
at the
say
comments.
about Jalen Hurts is the defense of Philly is so good. Jalen Hurts understand if I don't turn the
Hmm.
ball over, we still got a chance to win.
Hmm.
And that's what I'm telling guys like CJ Stroud. I almost rather you have 20
Hmm.
yards passed in the second half with no turnovers
Hmm.
than 150 yards, 200 yards in the second half, but you turn the ball over twice.
Yeah, we
Jalen
don't want to hold
Hurts,
the turnovers. Yeah,
right?
like
Jalen
forget
Hurts,
that.
Jalen Hurts understands that if he doesn't turn the ball over, his team has an opportunity to win regardless of how poorly he
Hmm.
plays. So at least we got that going. He's not gonna turn the ball over in big moments. And so I trust Jalen Hurts to win the game. He
Hmm.
doesn't have to go out there and throw for 300, 350 yards, anything like that. I trust him to win the football game, no matter how ugly it might look. I think he's capable of doing that.
Yeah, look, a ugly win is better than a pretty loss, right? So, that's what it is. They're trying to go back to back. Nasir, I know who should win, but I have to consider the NFL's bottom line. Something says a Purdy Lawrence. Who cares about watching the
Right.
Jaguars? And
I don't know.
I
I
mean, come
think
on.
Mysterio is a troll sometimes.
Like,
I
I
don't
could
know
care
about
less
that.
about seeing, and that's what respect Trevor Lawrence. Okay,
But
I could,
but
I could care less about seeing them in Super Bowl.
but both those teams, I mean, they're in the playoffs. Both those teams
They
have
are
a
in the
chance.
playoffs,
Both
but
those
if we're
teams
talking
have a
about
chance.
viewership, you know what I mean? NFL is still, still a business. You know what I mean? I can't see, you
Yeah,
know.
but they had some Super
Mm-hmm.
Bowls that I mean the Chicago and Chicago, who was that? Chicago and Indianapolis Colts with Rex Grossman at the quarterback. I mean, come on, that they could have got better viewership if they would have put somebody else in there. So, I don't know. I don't know how they pick what they're gonna do, but sometimes you don't have the best matchups that people exactly want to see. It just, it's sometimes who make it. I don't know. I don't know how they go in the algorithm.
DJ, you know something? We here, DJ. I
Don't do
like
that.
the
Don't
I
do
like
that.
the vibes you putting out there, DJ.
Don't do
Just go on
that.
ahead and manifest all that great, good energy from my Bills
Right.
Mafia. Where y'all at? Stand up
Don't
or
be
sit down
sucking
and
up, DJ.
follow.
Don't do that.
Right? Like,
You
you
ain't
already
pick the
said you
Bills.
had the Bills
You
in
ain't pick
Super
the
Bowl.
Bills all year, and now all of a sudden you want to go with the Bills.
Well, you said you got them getting there anyway. He just saying they're gonna win it.
I
They're gonna win it
did,
all.
but I just
So
picked Jacksonville.
look.
Cause I had to, cause all these cronies that came on here and swept you away with their little Buffalo Bill pick. I'm like, forget that. I'm going Jacksonville. I just jumped ship.
It's all right though. You'll hop back on after Sunday. But
Pause.
we, oh. We were like, nah, you can't hop back on this side. No. Nasir, I'm not sure I'll take this comment. Since Kaja is present, she's cute. Kaja shows that there are levels before being called beautiful. Okay. Well, thanks.
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
get
sure
that.
how to
I get it.
respond to that one.
Don't know what to, I
Okay.
don't know what it means.
Uh,
I think he likes you.
so moving on. Nasir, that was the black head coach Super Bowl.
Yeah, it was. It was that maybe that was it. It was the black head coach Super Bowl. That was Levy Smith against Tony Dungy. And Tony Dungy became the first black head coach to win the Super Bowl. And so, since then you've had a couple go to the Super Bowl. But yes, that was the black head coach Super Bowl. So maybe that had something to do with it. Why they put Rex Grossman in the Super Bowl.
All right. So just to recap, we are both we're both agreeing thus far. We got Eagles and then we got Rams. On one side, on the other side, you got Steelers. I got you got Texans. I got the Steelers, and then of course I'm rocking with my Bills.
Right.
And you got the Jaguars because you suck. Pause. So, what does that mean? DJ said, "What does that mean?" Um, Moving on. Last two games, y'all. Last two games, we got the Patriots and the Chargers. Should be a good one as well. Who you got? Who
That's
you
gonna
got?
be a good one. I got the Patriots. The Patriots are hot, well coached team. I
Mhm.
mean, both of these teams are well coached. Justin Herbert has to prove to me that he's that guy. And I like Justin Herbert. I didn't like him coming out of college, but I like what he showed this season. But I also like
Mhm.
what he showed last year in the regular season. I think he threw
It got
only
crazy in
like
the playoffs. I was like, what the heck
3 or 4
happened?
interceptions in the regular season. He got to the playoffs. And he threw 4 interceptions in the game. I'm like, what are we doing? So Justin Herbert still haven't proved that in the big game, in the
Mhm.
biggest moments, he can shine. I mean, even just this weekend against the Broncos, I mean, that was a huge game. They were playing for number 1 seeding. They were playing for the
Mhm.
division, and he crumbled. So I just until Justin Herbert shows me that he can win a big game, he can win a game when it matters, I will not be picking Justin Herbert. So I'm gonna go with the young guy in Drake May, even though this is first time being in the playoffs, this first time getting that kind of experience. His head coach has all the experience in the world playing for those daunted New England Patriots that won all them championships. He
Mhm.
knows what it takes to win. I think he's a great coach. I think he knows how to communicate winning to his team. And I think he's going to call a masterful game. Josh McDaniels, he knows how to call offensive plays. Again, he's another guy who has a lot of experience in these type of games. So
Mhm.
I think Drake May is going to compound on his MVP type season. And I think they're going to end up beating the Chargers at home. I mean, the Chargers got to travel 3,000 miles to New England. That ain't no short road trip. And that's a huge difference in time. And it's gonna be cold. Yeah, give me New England.
I'm going Chargers. I think Justin Herbert is gonna redeem himself from that god awful performance that we saw last season, in the playoffs. I really really do, and the defense is pretty good as well. One thing I will
Yes,
say
the defense
about
is good.
huh?
The defense is good. The Chargers.
Oh, one thing I'm gonna say about Drake May, maybe it's just because they're not too far off. I'm not 100% sold on Drake May yet. He's had one good season, really really good. Shout
One
out to
great
him.
season. One great
But
season.
I want to see him do it again in the years to come. Jaden had a great season last year, and then this season
Not like this
injuries.
though.
Even before the injuries, it just it wasn't the same. So I
Right.
want to see Kenny do it again. I want to see what it looks like on at the next phase, because that 21-0 and then the Bills came back, and won that game. I was like, okay, that there was something to me that was there that we weren't seeing before, or we weren't, I guess, maybe willing to talk about before, because everybody's always like, oh my god, when teams are doing so good, when they go on a winning streak, like with the Broncos, for an example, everybody's like, oh my god, look at the Broncos,
Mhm.
they won all these different games, 10 games in a row, 11 games in a row. when you actually break down how they won the games and how everything happened, it's like, on the offensive side, it's not as impressive, although they did get the win, but there's some holes there, even little holes, you could find a way to exploit those weaknesses.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go with the Chargers with this one.
yeah.
I think Justin Herbert is he's gonna show up. I think he's gonna show up this
Well,
time.
it will. Yeah, we're gonna definitely see. I think
We will see, that's for sure.
Drake May, man, he had a great season. I mean, led the league in completion percentage. I mean, his touchdown to interception ratio was good. And the game that they lost against Buffalo, where they were up 21, they kind of let off the gas. I more blame that on the coaching for not wanting to run up the score. Run up the score. If you can beat them 52-0, beat them 52-0. But Vrabel is old school, and once you have a lead, he believes in running the clock out. You can't play like that.
Not,
Definitely when
it
you
was at halftime,
definitely
and
when
then
Josh
once they got
right,
7 points and then
right.
14,
Definitely when
what
Josh
we
they couldn't turn
doing?
the switch. They couldn't turn the switch back on. And but when they lost that game, I remember because I think the Patriots was on a 10-game winning streak at that time.
They were.
And
Like the
when they lost
Jaguars
that
on the
game,
streak right now as well.
right. And when they lost that game, I remember saying, you know what, that was a good loss. Because you wanna you want to lose a game before you get to the playoff. You want to lose a game so you can build up back that momentum. And so they lost that game, but then the following weeks they built back up that momentum, so they're not backing into the playoffs. So I think that was a good loss before you get to the playoffs. So but we'll definitely see. I really like them. Same with the Broncos. The Broncos took a good loss before they put together a couple more wins to go into the playoffs. So I think a good loss, you don't want to
I
be
mean,
like what.
also most of their wins have come from teams that are not playoff contenders as well.
Yeah, yeah.
So I mean,
Let them know. I mean,
you gotta play
they
the
did beat
schedule that they
Buffalo,
get, but
but the
but
division was weak.
we'll see.
Miami, the Jets. Yeah, that was a weak division.
And then last but not least, you guys, Bears and the Packers. This one honestly can go either way.
Oh yeah, this
Like,
is the other best game of the
who-
week.
this should be a really, really, really good game. But
Yes,
who you got? Packers, right?
Packers.
'Cause,
Yes.
I don't know why I had to ask you that. I had to think for a second. Who am I?
Right.
Caleb, Jordan Love. Okay, Jordan
Yeah, I'm
Love.
taking the Packers. I'm taking Jordan. Show no love in the playoffs. Right. I mean,
Jordan show.
I'm just thinking like this. If I celebrated Christmas, right,
Mm.
and a guy gave me a pair of shoes, or he gave me a purse, which one would I want? I'm
Oh my
taking the
God.
shoes. I don't want you. Don't give me no purse. I don't care
Well,
how expensive the bag
they,
is. Don't
they
give
do
it
have
to
the
me.
man purses now.
I
That
don't
the
want a man purse. I don't want a pouch. I don't want anything that I can strap on my shoulder. Give me the shoes.
you want like a backpack or something?
I don't want anything that I can put a card in. Give me the shoes. I'm sorry. So I gotta ride with Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers. I really wish this is the one thing I really wish Michael Parsons was healthy. I really do. This is a
Yeah,
game where Michael Parsons would be a big difference maker because Caleb Williams is really good at escaping trouble in the pocket. And then once he gets outside of the pocket, he does have legs and he can run and scramble. Or he can
he
get you
makes
the
the
first
runs,
down.
the throws, man.
Right.
He
And
might.
he's good at throwing
Mhm.
off script. He's good at throwing on the run in
Mhm.
either direction. And a
Mhm.
guy like Michael Parsons can chase him down and catch him and put pressure on him or even sack him before he can really get away. Now don't get me wrong, Green Bay Packers still have great pass rush with Rashad Gary and all those guys, but it's not the same as having that home run hitter and Michael Parsons there. So I think the Bay Packers will have enough to win this game, even though they got to go
Mhm.
into Chicago. It really doesn't matter about the weather because whether you're in
Mhm.
Chicago or you in Green Bay, it's gonna be cold. We're gonna see if Caleb Williams is a big game hunter because that's what this is gonna come down to. Are you a big game hunter? And it's gonna be great because this is going to be the next step into the development or the arrival of Caleb Williams being the number 1 pick in the NFL draft just a year ago, and
Mhm.
and growing exponentially this year. And now it's like, can I take it a step further and get to the second round of the playoffs? Man, that quarterback draft from last year is looking better and better
Mhm.
as we go by, as the weeks go by.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with Caleb on this one. I am. I think I'm gonna give him the edge in terms of just talent more than a little bit over J Love. He showed me something in that game against the 49ers, because so much of the conversation was like the Bears defense has been a lot of the reason why they won those games, not so much the offense and things of that nature. But him and Brock, every time Brock scored, he was like, I can do that too. You know what I mean? They were going back and forth and back and forth. And it wasn't even about defense at that point. It was just an offense game. Like the defense just disappeared on both sides. You know, he showed me something with that nail polish and all. I think, and they're at home as well. I think I'm gonna give it to the Bears. I mean, to the the Bears. I'm about to say the Packers to the Bears.
Yeah, well,
So
the
we gonna
Bears have
recap.
Bears have a great defense. I'm not confident. I'm not, overly confident with that Packers pick. I
Mhm.
just can't pick the quarterback with the fingernail polish and the lipstick. I can't do it.
We are
So
assessing the talent. You
yeah,
you
yeah,
you
yeah. The
you
talent.
you
I
liking the
think Jordan
fear
Love is
now.
better. I think Jordan
You
Love
get
is a
liking the
better
fear
quarterback than
now.
Caleb
Now
Williams.
now you letting people wear with the
No,
jewelry and the nail
no.
polish, lip
I'm
gloss don't affect the
I'm
outcome.
saying
No lip gloss.
this.
I'm playing.
I'm saying this. I think the Chicago Bears defense is really good too. I think they led the league in turnovers. They know how to take the ball away from the other team. The Green Bay
Hmm.
Packers have great defense.
They couldn't do that against the Niners now.
Yeah, well, they got a pick 6 on the first play, and so they turned the ball over and put points on the board. Which again, Brock Purdy outplayed Caleb Williams in that game. He did. I mean, but Caleb Williams had a decent game, but he didn't have the game Brock Purdy had. And that team, and he had the ball last, and he couldn't get the ball in the end zone. But this is about the Green Bay Packers. I think one of the reasons why the Green Bay Packers and Chicago Bears might be the best game of the weekend. I mean, as far as how close the game might come down to, because these teams are so evenly matched. I mean, really, it comes down to which quarterback do you think is better? Because I think offensively, with the wide receivers and all the guys that are around them, I think they're even on that aspect of the game. Defensively, I think they're even. I think it comes down to which quarterback do you trust more? Do you trust Jordan Love more, or do you trust Caleb Williams more? Jordan Love is very inconsistent. He's a roller coaster ride. You don't know if you're gonna get the great Jordan Love or you're gonna get the Jordan Love they're struggling a little bit. Caleb Williams is consistently inconsistent to me. He has all the tools in the bag, but sometimes, like, he's not the most accurate passer. I'll put it like that. He misses open receivers at times. So, but then he'll make a throw to a receiver who ain't you don't even see is open, and somehow he makes a play. So I really think this is gonna be the best game of the weekend as far as how competitive it is. I'm just gonna
Hmm.
take Jordan Love because I just trust him a little bit more than Caleb Williams because of the experience and the nail polish.
All right, y'all. So we're gonna recap real quick. So between Panthers and the Rams, we both said we had the Rams. Eagles, Niners, we both said we had the Eagles. Bears, Packers, you say go Pack go, and I'm saying Chicago. Right? Chicago, stand up.
Right.
Caleb, stand up. Patriots, Chargers, you got Mayday. I'm going with Justin Herbert to be on a revenge game because he looked crazy
Right.
last season with
Yeah.
them four interceptions. I mean, it was awful. And then obviously Bills Mafia. We have to recap that because you got the Jaguars, so still on that side.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and then Steelers and Texans. I'm going Steelers, and you are going Texans. All right. I look forward to seeing coming back next week and seeing who was right and who was wrong. If you had
Oh,
to pick one, before we get out of here, who do you think is on upset alert?
upset alert. Well, I think I picked it. I think on upset alert would be the Buffalo Bills. I don't
Well, it's not
now.
upset alert because you're saying that the Jaguars are riding in, on the high horse, and Trevor
Right, but
Lawrence
that's
is
why
like,
I'm picking them.
no,
But
no, no.
I really like even when I talked to you about that game, I expressed to you that the expectations is that Josh Allen is the best quarterback in the playoffs. He's expected to get it done this year. He's the big dog. I'm putting them on upset alert because they're backing into the playoffs and Jacksonville is going in with momentum. I think Buffalo should win this game even if it's on the road, but because like I just said, they're backing into it as opposed to what Jacksonville is doing, they're going into it with momentum. I'm putting Buffalo on upset alert. Other than that, the other teams I can't pick. I think that I can't pick the Panthers. The Steelers. I think if the Steelers beat Houston, that would be an upset. But again, that game is so close; they're so evenly matched. And then the Steelers are playing at home. Can I really say that's an upset? I really can't. So the only team that I think could be upset this week is Buffalo. I think Buffalo is a prohibited favorite by the media and all those other pundits out there who are picking games. I think
They've
most of
actually,
these.
what I saw today, they were picking Jacksonville. I didn't see
Okay,
anybody picking,
okay, okay,
you know,
okay.
Rex
Well, shoot.
Ryan and them were like, Jacksonville.
Well, shoot. On the other team is shoot. I think all these games are pretty evenly matched.
Yeah.
I mean, if the Panthers beat the Rams, that would be an upset. Even though we just saw the Panthers beat the Rams a few weeks ago, and the
Hmm.
Panthers are at home, and I don't know how healthy Devontae Adams is going to be in this game because those hamstring injuries they're very tricky.
Well, he got a couple of weeks off, to kind of, hamstrings are tricky, but he got some time off to
Yeah,
try to
but
get
you know
get back in better shape as much as possible.
those
I don't think he's gonna be
hamstrings
100%
injuries,
though.
those hamstring injuries, they used to linger throughout the season, and I mean, they're gonna rush him back. I think they are rushing him back. I think if the playoffs weren't starting this week, I think they'll sit him out another week. But it's playoff time. Okay, we're gonna. Hey, are you ready? Can you go? Yeah, I can go, coach. Okay, we're gonna put you out there. But how much can you really give us? We're gonna find out because he's gonna be put to the limit against Carolina in that defense.
All right, before we get out of here, Big Dog asks, "I'm back. Who y'all got for MVP?" We said this I think already. We both had Matthew Stafford winning, right?
Uh, well, yeah, I think I'm gonna pick Matthew Stafford as a lifetime achievement award, but it seems like a lot of the pundits after he had that terrible game couple weeks ago where he threw the 3 interceptions, and then Drake
Hmm.
May threw 5 touchdowns. They were like, "Yeah, it's Drake May's." They kind of put Drake May in the front, so I wouldn't be surprised if Drake May won it. But I'm still gonna pick Matthew Stafford based on lifetime achievement. He
I'm
had a
gonna
great
pick
year.
Matthew Stafford, like even without the lifetime achievement, although that does factor into it. I'm just thinking about in terms of strength of schedule. Like what Matthew Stafford, who he was going against. He definitely had stronger talent to face than Drake May did.
Yeah,
So
but he lost to some teams that would be considered weak.
he did. I mean, look, that happens with at least
Right,
2 times in the season with good teams. You're like, how the heck they lose to that team? Like, what were
right.
you thinking? How did that happen? You know, but I'm gonna go with Stafford
Yeah,
between the two.
yeah. Then you look at the passing yards. You look at the touchdown to interception ratio. I think he had over 40 touchdowns. I think he still ended up with maybe 10 picks or so, something like that. A little. I mean, 4-1. I mean, that's great. So, I mean, he definitely earned it. And I think Matthew Stafford. It's amazing that he'll only have one MVP in his career because he's had a great career.
What about offensive rookie of the year?
Offensive rookie of the year. That's a tough one. Um, off the back, I'm thinking the tight end out of Indianapolis, Warren. He had a good season. I think Colston Loveland up in Chicago, tight end. I think he had a really good season. Ashton Genty had a pretty decent season. I believe he got over 1,000 yards, and he was the best offensive weapon that the Raiders consistently had this season. So when I'm thinking offensive rookie of the year, those are the guys that I'll be looking at. But give me Tyler Warren. I think Tyler Warren had a good season before Daniel Jones went down.
I had what's his name from Tampa Bay.
Oh, Mbuka.
Yeah. I'm thinking I'm getting a little bit tired now. Yeah. And then obviously kind of, tapered off and everything kind of took a nosedive. Not because of him though, but that's honestly who I liked for a big part of the season. So I
Yeah,
don't
Mbuka
I don't
was
have
good.
I don't have a vote. That's who I was going for, and hopefully we'll see what happens. But like you said, I guess if I had to choose, but then it's the same thing, because if you're factoring winning, and how they help their team win, like Ashton Genty had a good rookie season, but if you think about record and you're factoring that into your decision, when they
Right.
give out these awards, then that's something different, so we're gonna see, but I guess record, withstanding. I like him. Becca. All right, you guys. We're gonna get ready to get up out of here. We've been on here. We're a little bit short this time. Usually we go like almost 3 hours.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
we did good.
we did. Look, y'all see Nutty smile look like he belong on a Colgate commercial or something. His teeth all white and straight going across. He got the big smile going across. See, you know what? You and Caleb, maybe y'all could do like some commercials together, possibly. Not the nail polish though.
Nah,
Maybe
nah.
like a Colgate commercial, a Crest, something like
I mean, it depends on what they paying. I mean, I might can do some.
that. I love it. All right, you guys. I will be here live, obviously, for my bills.
I
And y'all,
might
let me
pop
get
up.
some. You
I
should
might
pop
pop
up.
up because they only gonna be playing one game at a time, so I ain't got to watch
Right? Right.
all
It's
8
different now,
games.
right? You have to do
Right,
like the
right,
multi-view, like trying to go back and forth. What's happening here? Who's all over the place. So that's the good thing. You can breathe and just relax and watch one game this time, and enjoy it without
right, right.
going all over the place. So yeah, you guys, we will be back. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we'll be recapping obviously next week Monday, and we'll see
Yeah.
what has happened after I think Steelers are the last game. Steelers and Texans are the last game next week
You
Monday.
know, they might tell
So
them to stay in the main event. You know how that goes.
so well they also wanted to be fair, give them some time to breathe. Like they were the last team, let Aaron Rodgers, get himself
Right. He
together.
got to heal up. 41.
All right, you guys, hold on real quick. Nasir said, "What about college football playoff semifinals?" I watch it, but I don't typically like go live. If that's what you're asking,
And I think
for
he
those
asked
games.
who we
Who
got,
I
who we
got? I'm
think
still
gonna
gonna go
win.
Miami again. I'm going Miami.
I'm trying to think about the matchups again. Who we got? We got um man, why am I drawing a blank? Oh,
I believe it's
Indiana.
Miami and
Indiana.
Indiana, right?
I got Indiana winning. And who's the other side? The other side is Ole Miss and or is it Oregon? Ole Miss and Oregon? Yeah. Oh, that's
Yeah,
gonna be a
or
tough one. Oh,
Oregon.
Miami versus Ole Miss. Okay, okay.
Oh, I thought it was Indiana.
Give
My bad.
give me Ole Miss. I'm definitely taking SEC. And that Indiana Oregon game is gonna be a great game because the Indiana Oregon game has got the top 2 quarterback prospects coming into next year draft with Moore and Mendoza.
Mhm.
Mendoza.
I'm like Melinda.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know why I said Menendez, but Mendoza. Um I'm been really impressed with Indiana. Indiana has been, man, they got some really great coaching. Man, they can run the hell out the ball, and that defense, man, that defense is stout. I'm gonna go with Indiana. I'm gonna ride with Indiana, and I'm gonna ride with Ole Miss this week.
I'm going Miami, Indiana.
Okay, okay, okay. All right.
All right, you guys. On that note, have a wonderful, wonderful night. Have a great week, y'all. Be safe and stay out those trenches. All right. If you have not liked, subscribe, make sure you do so, please, and thank you to my channel, Notty's channel, his channels. He got quite a few of them. Make sure y'all support.
Yep.
Sign up to all of them. Watch the content, and like Notty always says, send to at least one friend.
Yes, please
At
do.
least one
Please
friend.
do.
God bless you as well, Nasir. Although I'm still wondering about the comment, but God bless you as well. Thank you for tuning in as you always do. DJ came through. Brother D was in here for a little bit. I'm not sure if he's still
Brother
here.
D.
My mom is somewhere in this chat. Big Dog, everybody who came through. I don't want to forgetting some names, you know. But appreciate all of you guys and your support. Have a wonderful, wonderful night. Good night, you guys. Good night. Peace up, A-Town.